Let's see. What up, what up, what up? What's up, people? Feels like it's been a long time. How we doing? How we doing? We missed y'all on Friday. Coop, how are you today? Spent. It's nice weather, though.
It's glorious outside. I mean, I just took my daughter to work, but I was like, I was thinking to myself, she might have to cook dinner tonight because I'm done.
I feel that. Well, it's a lot going on in hip hop, man. I'm glad we're able to talk about some music. I mean, shit, first things first. And shout out to Swig, man. We're going to have him on the show next week. He's dropping the album Friday. We'll, put that up in the community section so people can see that. But we still haven't talked about the Jermaine Dupri and Currency album. Or EP, whatever people want to call it. For promotion, what was it? For inspirational use only?
Now, this is a 7-track player that plays like an EP, but not like an album.
It does. It does. How do we, because we're going to talk about an album that has EP length later when we talk about Jim Jones, I don't understand throwing Pusha T under the bus, in my estimation, when we talk about Daytona. But how do we measure EPs in hip hop? And what's you know what I mean? Like, what's the measuring stick for an EP, and what is our expectations? Do we even consider it with albums? And I'm only asking because, to me, I think this is in an album of the year discussion so far, but people are gonna say it's an EP. You know what I mean?
Not to be funny, like an EP to me is kind of like a drive-by shooting, and an album is kind of like the end of Godfather Part 1. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit more calculated in terms of how the murder's done. You know what I mean?
Even if you want to put it in context of a film, you got a beginning, middle, and end on an album.
That's what I was about to say, and that's why I was using a movie as a theme, is because Daytona has a beginning, a middle, and an end. There's a finality that comes with Infrared, and what would Meek do has album closers. It's like, no, that's album closer type of stuff. There's the beginning that you talk about where if you know, you know. But then there's that middle, like Hard Piano. It has a beginning, middle, and end.
It really does. And, even games we play, that following, if you know, this is a beginning, middle, end. Once again, the great Kanye West.
Yeah, it's on some subject, verb, predicate, climax, English, grammatical, like all that, like technically speaking, an album. This is more of a drive-by.
Yeah, it's bangers.
Drive-bys get the job done, too.
And first of all, I do want to give Jermaine Dupri his production props. He doesn't get a lot of production props in hip-hop, in the hip-hop sphere. But Jermaine makes some banging ass beats, and he proved it on this effort. And yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, man, because a lot of people need to remember that whole screwed up clique was kind of started on a Jermaine Dupri production on Criss Cross's Young, Rich, and Dangerous album. Like, Niggas in the Streets Ain't Right. Like, that's the record that DJ Screw flipped and made, what was it, June 27th, right? And that's a classic. And that's a Jermaine Dupri produced track. Jermaine Dupri got some banging ass hip hop tracks, and I think because he has such success in R&B, a lot of people forget that. But this is a banging album production wise, and Currency ran with it too.
A few things to that. First of all, production wise, I like that you bring up Young, Rich, and Dangerous, because I thought production wise, this reminded me of an updated version of that production wise.
Me too.
I mean that in glowing terms, because Mike, although it's crisscrossed to people and maybe we're biased because it's an Atlanta thing, no, that album was banging and it had some banging beats on it.
Yeah, Living Down for Hip Hop is a great record. Tonight's the Night's a great record.
Mike, when Tonight's the Night comes through the speakers, it's like, don't tell me you don't like that.
No,
don't tell me that. You know what I mean? No, that's some fire right there. But so shout out to Jermaine. I'm gonna tell you what I did. I pulled up on Dumb It Down's podcast.
Oh yeah, how did that go? And I'm sorry I didn't make it. I know it was on Easter, man. You got to catch me next time, dumb it down.
Yeah, man. First of all, it's called the Haters Ball. Hate, 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 hate. I love the name because I think the Dave Chappelle Show is the funniest comedy thing that we've ever seen on television. Sketch, whatever. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. But check it out. Dumb It Down's older brother is Old Baldy, who be on our chat.
Uh-huh.
The Old Baldy is Dumb It Down's older brother.
And I had no idea.
Me neither. And then they have a younger brother too. And so I'm talking to them, and we were talking about the Currency Jermaine Dupri album because they're all from the boot. They're from the NO. Mm-hmm. And so we had about a 3-hour NO Atlanta conversation with some Lupe sprinkled in between. And subscribe to the Haters Ball podcast, y'all. Definitely. Yeah, click like and subscribe to our page too while you're here. But we were having the conversation. I was like, I don't want to be biased because I'm from Atlanta. I was like, this production sounds super tight to me. I'm like, what do y'all think? Y'all from the boot. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And they're like, no, this production fire. And I was like, okay, I'm not being like ATL biased. So the production is there and Currency is flexing on it. And it happens fast though, Mike. And that's why I tell you it's an EP, because it's like when that last song goes off, you are expecting another record to play. When Infrared plays on Daytona, I ain't expecting to hear nothing else after that.
You're right. It's and I think, and no disrespect, because again, it's a dope EP and Daytona is a dope 7-song album. But a lot of people always rag us about the length of Daytona and the number of songs. But I don't think we've ever articulated it in this way to say that Daytona has a beginning, middle, and end. You know what I'm saying? And it's great for that. And so, but this is an EP, and I'm going to get to the Super Chats in a second, and I see the Super Chats here. I've got to give Currency props for his versatility over the years. I mean, this is a guy who started off with No Limit, with the Cash Money, and then goes to the Ski Beats, the Alchemist. Like, he's kind of done anything and everything that you could ever do from a hip-hop production standpoint. And now, since he's kind of found his fan base in that Alchemist groove, I kind of want to know what his fan base, his core fan base, thinks of this project, because it seems like he's venturing and doing something different, but really he's kind of coming back to his roots a little bit.
He's very Ghostface-like in the sense that it's like, well, he gonna do what he do on anybody's record. You know what I mean?
Very comfortable on everything.
Like he has a way, an approach that is succinctly his, no matter what the production is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's what I mean. It's not like what he does when he takes on different production, I realize, is that he treats it like a motion picture. The stuff that you usually get from him is like this, but then he'll choose a producer and he's shooting it from a different angle. It's the same stuff. Mm-hmm. The angle of the lens is different. That's what I mean. Like the talk on here isn't this different. He's wildly consistent. The angle is different. The production is different.
You're right. CJ Kidd with the Super Chat says, is it possible to get back to the MC list today? It was getting good last time. Are we going to get back to it? Me and Coop were talking about some things that we needed to do. First off, we had Jay-Z in the ringer, but I'm thinking ahead. I'm like, you know what? Maybe we need to put Kanye through it to make sure Kanye's placed properly so that, so everything's in order in that sense. Jay Short with the Super Chat says, what's up, y'all? This Drake/Kendrick thing is like Holyfield and Tyson. We know that they probably passed their prime, and we hate they're probably doing this for the wrong reasons, but we'll watch anyway.
Holyfield and Tyson weren't past their primes. Tyson was just poorly trained since Gus D'Amato died, and Holyfield was definitely in his prime still.
CJ Kidd with the Super Chat says, Bow Wow said he's not showing up to JD versus Diddy if it happens. Bow Wow got to chill, man.
Respectfully, nobody cares either.
Bow Wow has to chill. First of all, yes, Jermaine doesn't have to play Bow Wow records if he does a versus. But my thing is, man,
I wouldn't play Bow Wow records if I was doing the verses, unless I was doing the Like You record, and I don't see how that's getting in anywhere.
Well, see, this is my thing. You remember when Bow Wow did his verses with Jay, not Jay Short. What am I talking about? With Soulja Boy?
No, I don't.
Did he stay away from playing Jermaine Dupri produced records? Don't be like that. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man.
All jokes aside, like mental health is real. It's like is Shad Moss like possibly bipolar?
Possibly. I mean, because I don't really understand the Jermaine Dupri disrespect that
He be going
seems
off the
to
deep
come
end
from him.
sometime about Jermaine, like Snoop and Jermaine, like or the whole reason that you like are here.
Jermaine is a big one, and Snoop passing the ball to Jermaine for the
Bounce pass.
score
Yeah, a little fundamental
is
bounce
the
pass. I can't do
reason.
nothing with
Like,
homie, but I know you can. Boom, bounce pass.
yeah, like at that time, and I don't even want to say at that time, period. Jermaine's the only person who has proven twice that he can make superstars out of
Out
child
of children.
rappers.
Yes, out of
It's
children.
it's
Yes.
crazy. Other people have tried. Now let's not act like he's the only person to ever attempt this. Other people have tried but have never exceeded to the level that he has when it comes to that. Not only did he do it once, but he did it twice. And at that time, people were writing some stuff about Wow that I heard. I heard it was T.I. rapping or writing, excuse me. I heard Gibb say these things. Some people say that the Brat wrote some people say Jermaine wrote some. And if that's the case, on top of the fact he gave you a platform and an opportunity and a great lane to work, you as an artist perfectly, you gotta respect that. I mean, I say what I say about Eminem every now and then. Some of this stuff is tongue in cheek or whatever, but the job that Dr. Dre did on introducing Eminem to the world was incredible. Dr. Dre, Interscope, Jimmy Iovine, however you want to slice it. And I don't think anybody else would have been able to do it in that way. Same thing with Jermaine and Bow Wow. Like, if Bow Wow would have went anywhere else, it wouldn't have been the same. You got to give credit where credit's due. They did a great job.
Also too, when you're talking about like Iovine and Dre and Interscope, like keep the Godfather thing consistent. Well, that's the Corleone family. So things are going to go well when you're inside that family. They have a tendency, about offing everybody else who steps to them.
But this was a different task that they had at hand. Like, Eminem wasn't a given, and they made it seem like a given after the fact. Like, they did a great job.
No, at the time, definitely not a given.
Yeah.
I mean, this is one of those things we have to be mindful of too. Is just like we were more inviting about a white man coming into this space and being predominant than we are about bringing kids into the space of our own culture and skin tone and background and demographic. Don't you? Like, we just did the Rap Snacks interview with the CEO and president and head and owner and founder, James Lindsay, and we were just speaking of some of the societal issues that we have and how it translates across the board in our culture. And this is just kind of one of those things too, because it's like, although Interscope did a great job with Eminem, this is what I keep on saying when I say we invited Eminem to the barbecue. Well, culturally, we're more accepting of Eminem than we are of Bow Wow and Criss Cross.
But see,
Isn't that a little Criss Cross?
You're right. The interesting thing with Eminem though is he walked in the door and closed it behind him, because we're not that accepting of other people walking in behind him.
Well, this is what I keep trying to tell you. We accepted that because that guy is nice.
And you know what? And they ran him through the perfect gauntlet at that time to prove that to people. I mean, I always talk about when I heard him on the Sway and Tech record, the Anthem. That had me sold. Not to mention with him being on the Funk Flex and Big Cap, rest in peace to him, If I Get Locked Up Tonight, like stuff like that. Forgot About Dre. Like, they had him in the right positions for people who might have had doubts. And it's like, oh yeah, he can rhyme. He's rhyming with Redman on this song here on the Nutty Professor 2 soundtrack. Boom. You know what I'm saying? Mad Rapper over here. Boom. And it was like, that was the perfect thing to do. Now, I think, and I don't like calling out names, but let's just keep it real here. I don't think that the people who are guiding Jack Harlow's career ran him through that same gauntlet that would have actually given him a core base. Like, have him rap with some of the rap guys. Like, he's not whack or nothing like that. Have him on songs with, and I ain't talking about remixes of songs that were his. Have him on the Baby's album. Have him on a record with, Lil Baby. Have him on a record with Uzi. Do it. You know what I'm saying? Why not? And they did that work when it came to Interscope and Eminem. So by the time he released his stuff, he's like, oh yeah, this dude's nice. I heard him on this, you know?
That's what I'm saying, Mike. He's nice, but he's working for the Corleone family. It's a little different.
They're smart. Our man with the super chat says, "Peace. I was watching the Timbs and Lakers game last night and wondered if Marbury and Garnett stayed together. Would they have stopped Kobe and Shaq? 3P. What say you?" I remember those teams. I fell asleep on last night's game, man. I heard it was great. I heard it was great at the end.
I got home in time for like literally the comeback in the overtime. Like I don't know how the first 3.5 quarters went, but the rest of it was like some stellar playoff level type. Yeah.
Well, in the fourth quarter, I think it was, or third quarter, when I saw LeBron slash to the goal, and you know what I'm saying, it was like nothing anybody could do. I'm like, yeah, I don't really see him losing this game. Because when you can actually turn it on and get a bucket and you have that kind of experience and you're at home, it's tough to think you're going to lose to a young team like that. Now, as far as that Garnett and Marbury thing, you know, the third option was the issue with me on that team. I wasn't big on, was Wally Zerbiak?
Like Zerbiak more than you, although I can see why you would feel that way. Here's what I would tell you.
The Lakers had a lot of firepower on that Kobe and Shaq team, by the way.
Do I think they would have stopped the Shaq and Kobe three-peat? Is a no. But here's what I'll tell you is a yes. I think had they stayed together, could have snuck in and possibly beat. Like, think about this, that 98 Utah team with Stockton, Malone, and Hornacek. No, I like prime Garnett ascending into his prime, Marbury already being ready as a point guard in Zerbiak more than I like that team. So I could have seen them being representative in the 98 finals and the strikes shortened season of 99 when San Antonio snuck in. I could have seen them, had they stayed together in one of those years, maybe representing. I mean, if it would have been 98, Mike's going to beat that ass.
Did Sprewell play with them?
Sprewell played with Cassell in.
That's right. You're right.
That was a few years later. That's why I'm saying I was talking about had they stayed together. Like had Marbury and KG stayed together that 98 season that the Jazz went, I think they would have been a threat. I think 99, the year before Shaq and Kobe, like that Duncan Robinson year. Mm-hmm. No, I think they would have beat that San Antonio team. I think they would have beat that Knicks team. So I think they kind of missed their gap.
Dumbing Down with the super chat says, appreciate the support and the love, Mike and Coop. Currency works with everyone. Don't miss. Shout out to Dumbing Down, man, and your platform and the fact that you went out there and started a podcast. I'm sure it's going to be some crazy conversations on the Haters Ball.
No, I mean, I was actually watching some of our interview. It was actually pretty entertaining, and I had a great time.
Jay Short with the super chat says, Bow Wow isn't bipolar. That's resent. That's resent because he can't do it without JD and the brat. Sometimes people resent your help. I think that
I mean he's had a lot of flip outs though, Mike, that don't even necessarily concern Jermaine either or the brat. So that's why I kind of like forged that conversation. And I wasn't forging it in jest or being petty at all. Like I was dead serious.
I think that there is a level. Well, it feels like it may have. I don't want to say a level of resentment, but I do think that this is the one thing, right? Every child star wants to get out of that childlike image. And maybe in his mind, to do that, he needed to show that he could do this his way, on his own, without the person that was standing right next to him when he was a kid. I get that. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if Michael Jackson would have stayed with Motown, would we have still looked at him as little Michael Jackson, or would the people in Motown still promote him as little Michael Jackson? He had to change I don't want to say he had to change. Joe Jackson got his boys a deal at CBS, and ever since then, they were removed from that kid-like shadow because they were somewhere else. And maybe that's what he was trying to do. But I just think it's remarkable that somebody like LL Cool J was never pinged as a child rapper, and he actually was.
15.
He was 15. It's amazing, man. Like, and you think about him being a vet around the Flavor in Your Ear time. Like, he's like the same age as these guys, or like a couple years old.
He was a legend by then.
He was a legend by then, and he's rapping with guys nearly his age. AB Studio with the super chat says, to Kendrick, I'm not impressed. Scared to battle, fact. Mamba he said, remember when he had the game this shine for him? Oh, I do remember that. I don't even think that he's built for this. Only Pusha gets active, but according to Jim Jones, he's not. We're going to get into all of that. And I think Jim Jones' commentary on that is very interesting to me. Mike H with the super chat says, Harlow don't move right. Eminem would have never allowed two black men to carry him at the Kentucky Derby. Now that's true. That's true.
Straight up and down.
I can't refute that one. And this is coming from Mike D. Yeah, I can't refute that one. L Boog with the super chat says, since you both are talking b-ball, let's go Raptors. LOL. Shout out to Toronto.
Yeah, Bugs be repping. Like, look here, baseball season starting. Bugs is on Twitter, like with the Blue Jays logo. Basketball season starting. Raptors logo, like staying on game. I'm waiting to see a Maple Leafs jersey. What's up, Bug?
Is L Bugs repping Drake too in this whole Drake and Kendrick thing? Mad Max with the super chat says,
definitely looking like a Drizzy logo.
Mad Max with the super chat says, all I'm gonna say is the industry is bad for kids. P vibe. I don't want to say that word. I don't want to get us blocked. Let's get into this Drake thing if you don't mind, or do you want to finish talking about this currency? I mean, it's banging. I don't know what else to really say. It's just a banging 7 records. Love the record with 2 Chainz, by the way.
Record with Chainz is fine. Mm-hmm. I think the only thing really to do is to rate the project. So, I mean, what say you about the rating of the project?
Again, it's hard to rate EPs because again, you're not getting all of the things that you get in a full album.
Feels like a 4.
It feels like a 4. I was gonna say that too. And
like,
the things
what
that
else
it's
is
missing,
like a 4 that was an EP, and it's not as good as actually. No, this is better than a 4. Creeping on the Come Up. Remember Creeping on the Come Up?
Yeah, Creeping on the Come Up was great. But looking back on it and understanding what they were able to do, understanding what they were able to do with a full length with East 1999, it just sounds incomplete to me now.
Right, but it's still got Thuggish Ruggish Bone and For the Love of Money.
Yeah. And what was the other song that was big on there?
No Surrender on there?
No Surrender, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
No Surrender? Woo-hoo.
I mean,
we never heard anything like that.
I was just about to say that. I think what people got to understand who might not have been there is when you hear Thuggish Ruggish Bone for the first time, you never heard anything like that. You got 4 different members rapping 4 different ways. Their flow is different from everybody. Their voices are different from each other. Like, the production's different than anything else you ever heard. And it's infectious, too, because that hook, it grabs you. Same thing with For the Love of Money.
It's a banger.
Yeah, it's a banger. All right, well, Drake kind of leaked a song or released a song, and it had some bars that people were questioning if it was about Kendrick or not. You know, you guys judge. Says fake woke niggas, fake deep. You ain't no fame before me. Gave your ass a little sneak peek. Yeah, now you got to take the back seat. And first thing I saw with that was backseat freestyle, but there was a lot of and you and I were talking about this. I think you brought this to my attention first. On the record, the album with him and 21 Savage, there was some there was some Kendrick shots in there throughout the whole album. Privileged Rappers, I feel like, was about Kendrick. And I think that's interesting he called it Privileged Rappers. This feels like I was telling you offline, this feels a little, and you guys are going to kill me when I say this, Jay-Z and Nas-ish. And I say this in a sense where, if people remember correctly, Jay went full force on Nas after Nostradamus. Now, not saying Kendrick has dropped Nostradamus with Mr. Morale, but I would say
Nostradamus is way better than Mr. Morale, so he has.
Okay, but I would say that this would be
damn shoot him up on Mr. Morale, or no come and get me, or no last words on Mr. Morale. Mr. Morale's worse than Nostradamus.
So you got Mr. Morale over Nostradamus.
No, I got Nostradamus over Mr. Morale.
I'm sorry, excuse me. You got Nostradamus over
Project
Mr.
Window,
Morale.
Life We Chose. No.
I don't know, man. I gotta
I
say that
don't
the
like the
lyrical.
album. They ain't say it was trash. And Mr.
So one could feel like, and I would say, from Drake's standpoint, right? One could feel like this is a time where Kendrick would be vulnerable after dropping an album like this. No pun intended to the subject matter of the album, but just if you look at his catalog, I think anyone would say, yeah, this is probably the weakest point. Now, whether you're a fan of Mr. Morale or not, does everyone agree that this is probably fourth? If we're talking Section 80, Good Kid, Mad City. Actually, fifth. Yeah, I was just starting at Good Kid, Mad City. So this is fifth. If we're starting at Section 80, it's fifth. Okay. So somebody like Drake, especially after Kendrick got named number 2 rapper all time from Billboard, the place where Drake has notoriously won all his awards.
You mean the building Drake runs?
Yeah, Drake really runs the Billboard building.
And they're like, oh, so I'm back here and he's up there, but I run the building.
But one thing I will respect about Drake in this sense, he sees this, and instead of talking about it, he's putting it on wax. And I think he's kind of poking Kendrick to say, yo, you number 2 all time? Prove it. What say you?
I mean, it sounds like to me like Drake is saying, it's like, well, I feel like dancing. Where are your motherfucking shoes, nigga?
Big steppers. Big steppers. Where are your big steppers?
Right, like I feel like dancing. How you feeling over there? You feeling like you still got your moves?
Hey man,
that's what it sounds like to me, Mike. Like competitively speaking, it sounds like he kind of like it sounds it's a little jab. You know what I'm saying? Like oh, you still awake? Can you take a hit? How your jaw doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Got a strong chin? Can you take a couple blows? How you feeling?
Now, whether people like Drake's music to that level or not, you have to look at it from his vantage point. Like you said, this is from Billboard, right? They rank Kendrick number 2 all time. He has actually done the work to prove that, he should have that spot based on their criteria and everything they've awarded him with. So he's looking at somebody he started slightly before, and mind you, Drake has never stopped. See somebody who took a 5-year break and comes back with an album that is 5th on his album list, and they put him at number 2. I could see where Drake's coming from, and he's like, look, they could say what they want. I'm going to say what I want. I'm going to need you to prove that you that number 2 and that you're number 1 in this generation. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's the biggest thing. He's giving Kendrick a opportunity to prove that he's undoubtedly the guy in this generation. And I got to respect Drake for that, man.
So let's have some just quick student of the game type of conversation. If you really look at it, it's like, well, I know Kendrick, outside of that, whatever that was that he just released, it's not an album. He's still been the better album maker.
Of course.
And the better lyricist.
Yeah.
And the better storyteller.
Mm-hmm.
But here's what else I will tell you. And you can look at every other measure, including being battle tested, and as an overall songwriter, and say, oh, no. If you think Kendrick got Drake, like you really haven't been paying attention, because diss records usually go to the better songwriter.
It's true.
Nas is a better songwriter than Jay-Z by himself. That's why you get, I fuck with your soul to eat. You know what I mean? Like you get stuff like that when it's a solo mission, because it's about the writing. Really, it is. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And people like Drake, they know what.
Right? Like what I'm saying is Drake's style, even though a lot of people think that it's vulnerable, even in his vulnerable records, he's actually a very confrontational and conversational guy.
He knows what people are going to gravitate to on a record, and that's what being a smart songwriter is about. He knows what people are going to gravitate to on a record. He knows if I say, is that your girl? Is that a world tour or your girl's tour?
Right.
He knows those are things people are going to remember.
That's writing shit. That's what I mean about him being the better like writer technically in terms of making a song, because it's like, no, Kendrick doesn't, even when Kendrick says stuff that people quote, it's like you have to understand, how intelligible is it to you? Like, I'll give you an example. On Be Humble, my left stroke just went viral.
I knew you were gonna go there. That was the first thing I thought when you said that.
What? Huh?
Or his
now,
other
when you say
one.
Is that now? When you say is that in a war tour, your girl's tour, it's like, ooh.
And the other one from Kendrick is "Girl, I know you want this." Yeah, you know that's his other
right,
one.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's like what?
Right.
That ain't that like when I was on Dumb It Down's podcast, when I was on the Haters Ball, I brought up the Nas line from "You're the Man." I saw a dead bird flying through a broken sky. Like, no, like Kendrick don't do that shit. So it's like if you thinking that he got him, it's like no, his.
Jay Short with the super chat says someone photographed in a blackface calling someone fake woke. The irony. To me, when it comes to the Pusha T response on Drake, I know a lot of people harp on the child and all that stuff. I thought that the strongest parts was the blackface.
Okay, I've always said this. The story I added on is the third weakest Pusha T diss in the Drake Pusha T dissing this nigga series. There's Exodus, which is a Lil Wayne and Drake shot.
Mm-hmm.
There's Infrared. And then there's Story of Adding On. Infrared's the best record of the three. And then Exodus. Crazy. And then Story of Adding On. Matter of fact, they kept Exodus off streaming platforms. It was so vicious. You gotta go YouTube the video.
Yeah.
You're really riding around the hood in Virginia.
Yeah, Exodus is vicious. And I loved the chilling nature of Infrared. That beat, crazy. Now, but when it comes to being battle tested, though, and again, if you step in the ring with somebody like Pusha T, I mean, I got to respect that, too. We know what Pusha T brings to the table. And he didn't disappoint. And if we want to keep it real, when Drake released Duppy Freestyle, people thought that, oh, he might win this. It was a good record.
Duppy Freestyle's a dope record.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, I mean, and what he did to Meek, oh, goodness. I mean, listen, regardless of what people's opinions are.
But think about that, though. Yeah. Like, forget the wins and the losses. He's been in the ring with Meek Mill and Pusha T, and we watched it happen live. Like, and didn't step in the ring with either one of them, like, just one time and step out. No. Multiple times.
Yeah.
So battle tested in a way that the other guy bit by who? What?
And I mean, I'm talking about direct bars at people. Even with the Chris Brown thing, it was like, you know me as a Chris Bottle sender. Excuse me. Yeah, you know me as a Chris Bottle sender. Shit like that. And even when he was going to Diddy.
Happened in the club that he said that. He's like, no. But taking some shots at him, too.
Exactly.
R&B singers can get it, too. Because I know how to sing.
You can say what you want about Drake. You can say what you want about Drake, but he's not scared to step in the ring. And even though we've heard Kendrick's Control verse, we never heard him even respond to any of the people that actually responded to the Control verse. And I'm not saying that Kendrick can't do the battle thing or can't go back and forth, but it's not, he hasn't been proven in a way that Drake has. I mean, we just can't say that, regardless of what our feelings are.
Washington has a point, too. He went at Common, too. Common and Drake had a thing.
Oh, yeah. You're right. I forgot about Common.
Because
he got Common on Stay Scheming, and I hated to admit that as a Common fan.
And I'm going to tell you what, too, man. And here's what I mean about he's a problem. He did something on back-to-back that, like, forever earned my respect, because he took the wind out of a lot of people. What Drake did on back-to-back is he took away a lot of people's ability to diss him on record, because he actually called it out and poked fun at it first.
Oh, like some B-Rabbit shit.
Like, you getting bodied by a singer nigga. It's like, oh, now niggas can't use that against Drake.
Right.
Drake is calling it out. He's like, yeah, I sing and you can't beat me. Fuck you. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what was so crazy, though? He dropped Charged Up, which I liked. A lot of people like, oh, whatever. But see, Charged Up was important and strategic because he knew he had the real record in him. And it was like, nigga, I done responded twice before you can even come with anything. That's powerful. I mean, the fact that Charged Up exists actually made Back to Back stronger. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the first line.
People talking about this is subliminal. I'm like, there ain't nothing subliminal about this.
This seems like, pretty direct. I mean, he said fake woke niggas.
He's not Muhammad Ali, so he's not about to come out. It's like, I'm going to beat Joe Frazier in 7. No, I mean, it's not that, but I mean, how much more direct would you like it to be? The backseat line? It's like, hello. He's literally referencing the whole punchline about the good kid, Mad City time and the poetic justice come up and like all of that. It's like, no, that's.
He said, I gave you a peek. Yeah, you're right. I mean, look at this.
I gave you a peek. And when he's saying gave you a peek, Kendrick was opening up.
And, you know, it's that double entendre thing. And if Jay said this, we would look into it this way. He gave you a peek, as in a look at the fame, and he peaked your records. That's who he's talking about clearly. So he says, fake woke niggas, fake deep. You ain't no fame before me. Gave your ass a little sneak peek. Yeah. Now you got to take a back seat. I mean...
As I look around and survey the premises, Mike. As I look around and survey the premises.
And for the people who want to deny that part of it, I mean, who else do you think he's talking about? He was just up there hugging it up with J. Cole at Dreamville Fest a couple days ago. J. Cole was talking about how Drake is an icon of this generation. And we seen the whole thing. Blue Collar Hustle with the Super Chat says, I dig rapping, but a rapper with a ghostwriter? What the fuck happened? No way Drake is a better writer than K-Dot with Ghost in his pen.
I understand the shit that Drake be talking about, though. Even if I like, you know what I'm saying? Even if I think Kendrick's the better MC. I told you that better MC. Like,
okay. Let's address the elephant in the room.
Well, where's Drake at on this list, and where's Kendrick at on this list?
They had him in the top 10. I want to say he was like 7 or something.
I'm talking about our list. Ain't nobody thinking about.
Oh, you talking about our list? I thought you were talking about the list that Drake is responding to.
Kendrick is at 27 and Drake is at 22 on our list. Yeah, that's about.
We should match them up today, just to make sure.
We can select back up, see how you do. It ain't gonna go well.
What I was gonna say though, damn, I lost my train of thought. Let me get to 007. He says, Coop, we sure that Drake is right in those bars, though? That's where I was going to go. Also, Drake needs some sort of validation as a credible MC. Even Billboard knows that that pokes are strategic. I was going to ask this. How long are we going to, I guess, hold Drake to these reference tracks? And how much stuff do you think Drake writes on his own?
Let's go back to the conversations with the glove. Team. Room full of people. Coop. Nobody's really doing this alone. He's like, very few people are really out here doing it alone. That's why somebody like a Nas takes allegations with the whole QM thing so seriously, because he is actually one of the guys going at it solo. A lot of these guys don't be going at it solo. You know what I mean? Like I remember the whole, Pharrell talking about, I gave Busta that line for Pastor Cavassier. Busta's like, I gave Pharrell that line for frontin'. You know what I'm saying?
And that's fine. I mean, at what point, though, do we say, okay, you have a ghostwriter and the raps that you make, you shouldn't even, rank because you don't write your own stuff. I mean, because people get ideas, people flip bars, people flip ideas. These guys make a lot of music, first of all. And let's give Drake that credit. He makes a lot of music.
Yeah.
And I'm sure most of that stuff comes from his brain. But if some of it doesn't and somebody's throwing out ideas, you got people around to inspire. Are we going to sit here and just throw everything out and say he doesn't write?
Well, here's what I've always told you. My biggest qualm about the whole Drake ghostwriting thing was that, those reference tracks that we heard, that's some of his best stuff. That was always my problem.
Yeah.
Because it's like I told you, it's like all those dudes be pulling up on me and the ladies be pulling up on me about the whole Lil' Kim Big thing. It's like, I don't give a damn. She wrote some of her best stuff and did some of her best bar work after that man was gone. Stop that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so my biggest problem has always been is that I don't know if he's done anything better since that happened. But here's also what we have to realize too. There's a slew of material before that that's great that doesn't have any ghostwriting attachments to it. It's not like there's a sequence of ghostwriting attachments attached to Drake in every album in his catalog. It's just that one shot. Correct me if I'm wrong. Much like Lil Kim with Hardcore, correct? Or MC Light's first album, correct?
Yeah. As far as reference tracks,
and it's only 5 tracks, right?
Yeah, something like that. What I was gonna say though,
real talk. How many records do you think, like somebody like Ice Cube or Snoop or DOC have just given Dre?
Yeah,
you feel me?
Yeah. I think
like that's what I'm talking about when Glove talking about the work, because now I'm looking at, like, I was listening to Sam Snead's record. You Better Recognize the Day I was riding around to. I love that beat.
I love that beat too.
That beat's stupid. And I was thinking to myself, I don't know who fucking record this really was for. You know what I'm saying? Like, because of Glove's conversation, I look and I listen to the music differently now. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? This beat was probably, you know what I mean, laying around, and Sam probably came and picked it up, and that's how he got the record. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, for real. I mean,
you're saying Sam's really more of a producer than, you know what I'm saying, an MC. So it was kind of like, you know.
It seems like the people who have a lot of material get pegged with this. Like, Wayne got pegged with this too. And for whatever reason, Wayne has been able to work his way out of the, the ghostwriter talk. Because I think at some point, yeah, let's just say hypothetically, allegedly, Gilly wrote on the Carter 1. But we saw him continue that intensity on the Carter 2, make the hits on the Carter 3, go spaz out on a Millie, spaz out on a whole bunch of different features. And it's like, okay, well, he might have had some help at some point, but he doesn't have any help anymore. But why doesn't Drake get that same consideration? Do people feel like that there's still somebody writing for him?
And, well, here's what I tell you. Here's what I would tell you. Gilly said he wrote the Carter 1.
Mm-hmm.
Not some. You're like, no, I wrote pretty much that whole thing. Like, you don't think that's worse than the 5 Quentin Miller reference tracks?
Right.
And I'm gonna tell you the truth. And this is what I mean about, well, it's like, do I hold that against Wayne in relationship to somebody like a Jay or a Nas or a Tupac or a Big? Yes.
Yeah.
Against everybody else, no, because you want to know what he followed up with? In my opinion, his best project, the Carter 2, is right after the Carter 1.
What about a reference to somebody like a T.I. who's never had a ghostwriter?
Above. See, that's what I'm saying. It's only a splitting hairs conversation for me at this point with it, because I can see how many people out here now really do. There aren't a lot of people running around here pulling solo missions like you think all the time.
Yeah.
It's just not. And so I'm going to weigh somebody's greatness differently only when measured against somebody who's like, well, you carry the ball 90% of the time, but it's 100 over here. Only for those guys. You know what I'm saying?
AB Studio with the super chat says, Dave Free knows it's not subs. He said, Dave Free knows it's not subs. He responds on Twitter. K-Dot should set it up. If he's not responding, he should take another 5-year break. We good.
It is. I will tell you this. I don't know how Jay and Nas like it is outside of the fact that you're making a very poignant assertion with this whole the timing of it.
The timing is what gets me. It's like
that's where I agree with you on the timing.
It feels like Drake, and this is just my opinion, it's one thing that you got number 2 in my house or whatever in consideration over me in that way, but now you done dropped your weakest effort. Now it's time to really dig in. Because I think Drake's extremely strategic, right? I think he was waiting to see what Kendrick had after this 5-year break. And after this 5-year break, it's what you got? Yeah, I'm going in. That's what this is about.
And that's what I'm saying. So, and this is what I mean. That's very, very gangster from the singing ass nigga.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean.
He's like, very aggressive on records.
Don't let the whole freaking Canada, Toronto, or light skin, half, white, half J. Ain't nobody trying. Nah, gangsters do gangster shit. This looking very gangster.
This is my opinion. I don't have any inside information, but I think Drake has a Kendrick Lamar diss record waiting in the chamber.
I'm gonna go a step further, Mike. I bet you there's probably already 2 or 3 skeleton tracks that he has in the chamber to pick from in case he want to say go. Like red light, yellow light,
red light, green light, red light, green light.
Yeah, but I don't want to turn up on this nigga.
Mad Max to the super chat says, Dot been using Drake's name for years to promote himself. I got Loverboy over Dot. Drake would end his career. Dot don't have the punches to compete. And that's from the younger niggas saying that.
I'm just telling you, this is what I mean when I say it too. Even stylistically speaking, you have to look at like who actually stylistically makes more sense in this too. Listen to most of the rhetoric that you hear from Kendrick after Good Kid, Mad City. Mm-hmm. It's not anything that would tell you that he is battle tested or battle ready or even writing or even performing in that frame of mind. And don't give me that control verse. How about this? Think about this. Imagine if the game spits the control verse. It's just another name drop from the game. In motherfucking scene, Jay Electronica got the best verse on there. Because the only reason that people made a big deal out of that verse is because Kendrick was name dropping.
And the King of New York thing where he took from Corrupt.
Man.
Mad Max to the super chat says Drake gonna have all the girls posting his dot disses and captions. It's not close. If they went at it, it's not close.
Like, people don't understand. Part of the reason why we lauded Pusha T so much for being victorious over Drake isn't because he beat Drake. He beat the machine when he beat Drake. It's hard to beat Drake.
But understand how he had to do it. He had
over the course of 15 years.
No, I ain't even just talking about that, but I'm talking about the final record. He had to go the blog route, I would say. You know what I mean? With the subject matter.
I wouldn't even call it the blog route, Mike. He just like stayed at it until literally Drake's, star power. How about this? He stayed so consistent with it and kept his stance so long that as soon as Drake's stock dipped even a little bit, which just happened to be around the time that Pusha T stock went to an all-time high with Daytona, it changed everything for Push. And to be honest with you, what Drake is really trying to do is what Push just did to him. That's really what he's trying to do, because part of how Push won is because, Push had his comeuppance, his best album, his best moment, his best diss, right when Drake was making his worst stuff. Drake just had it happen to him. That's why he's looking at Kendrick like, no, nigga, your turn.
I think they caught Drake off balance, too. I mean, according to Drake, they heard, or at least Kanye heard some of the stuff that he was working on. So I think they probably heard, I'm Upset was just put out, because Pusha said at the end of the story, Adidon. And so when you put out something like that, and then they hit you with a haymaker after you just put out Daytona a week before, you can knock somebody off balance.
Mike, there are a couple of big rappers, big all-time rappers that got that Kendrick album in advance, and both of their reactions was, so where's the real album?
Blue Collar Hustle with the super chat says, how long are we going to hold the reference tracks against Drake? Forever. He proclaimed himself as a top 10 MC, and his own man's 40 said in rap, you must write your own lyrics. Kendrick is certified, Drake isn't.
So he's not top 10 in my opinion. And I had Kendrick somewhere closer to that stature until he, did all of this. But neither one of them are top 10 right now, in my humble estimation. So that really doesn't matter. Not all time.
I will say this. Drake's accomplishments are, undoubtedly top 10. You know what I mean? Yeah, top 5 accomplishments. And I think that if those reference tracks never had surfaced, I think from a mainstream standpoint, the conversation would be different because of Drake's accomplishments. It's the one thing that people hold against him.
This is what I mean about splitting hairs. It's the only real viable thing I can say that should keep him out of the top 10, because I can give you 10 guys with better catalogs You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That didn't take any help. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I mean. It's one of those splitting hair things. But you're right, Mike. It'd be hard to keep him out of any legitimate top 10 conversation if it wasn't for that. Like, you would have no leg to stand on.
Yeah. You know what? I know he's addressed it before, but I feel like Drake might need to address this ghostwriting thing in length because let's just say, I mean, it's two things that could be happening. Number one, let's just say, Quentin Miller submitted some dope tracks, and Drake said, "Yeah, let's just run with it and do it," and he did them. And that was a one-time thing, and it's the only time he's ever had any quote-unquote help, right? That's one scenario, right? And the other thing is maybe he's continuously had help, and I think the more and more he makes hits and the more and more he charts, the narrative is, oh, this man got a whole writing team. Like, so one person turned into 30. And I mean, it could be true, or it could be a situation where it was just the one time. Who knows?
And how did that information get leaked exactly?
Meek Mill. Through Twitter. Meek Mill and Flex.
Right. So this is what I'm saying. You see how quick it happened? The guys inside the rooms in the industry already knew that, and they weren't holding it against them.
That's fair because they also know that you could do this with other people.
A bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
That's why they weren't holding it against them, because they knew before those Quentin Miller tracks will look like, let's say you were to just stop his career before the Quentin Miller tracks. You get what I'm saying? It's like, no, it's still damn near Hall of Fame resume. So what are we doing?
Mad Max with the super chat says, I can always tell what songs Drake wrote and didn't. The songs like Amaretto, Lemon Pepper, etc. he wrote because he always rapping that way. Charged Up, he wrote. I don't know, man. I wouldn't have thought that he didn't write Energy or whatever. You know what I mean? Anime Bros Podcast with the super chat says,
I forgot about my mic.
Drake's caught too many L's to go against the GOAT. He already tried subbing Jay and got spanked. Joe Budden pumped him up. Easy work. I'm glad you mentioned the Joe Budden thing. And
to go against the GOAT? And
talking about Kendrick's the GOAT. All right, this is the thing, man. Joe Budden actually tried to outbar Drake. And he came with like 3 songs or whatever, and they were dope. But, they kind of got ignored. What Pusha did, he was like, listen, I can outbar him all day, but I'm going to rap about some things that social media is going to talk about because he understands social media is where Drake really wins before the battle even starts. Mm-hmm. And so he took that away from him. I don't know if Kendrick will be able to do that. I think that Kendrick would go out there and try to out-rap him, and strategically and just based on being battle-tested and just based on experience, Drake has the upper hand on Kendrick on wax, regardless of how you feel about them bar for bar lyrically or whatever. But on wax, going at each other, I give advantage to Drake out of experience and out of his aggressive nature. Look, even right now.
Give me the guy that's not scared to fight and that has fought before.
Yeah.
Give me what my eyes have seen. Like even if you feel like they're all losses, let's say you feel like he lost to Common and lost to Budden and lost to Meek and lost to Push. You understand? He got in the ring and fought.
That's how I feel about 50 Cent. Like, 50 might have lost a bunch of times, but 50's battle tested.
What about the other guy is what I'm saying. Let's run down his rap sheet right quick. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because he doesn't have one outside of a name-dropping verse, really. And I'm not saying that in any sort of condescending way. I'm saying it because it's the truth.
Yeah.
And so he's not above no smoke, guys. Most of his rhetoric, lyrically speaking, is more social commentary, and even that has been muddled and befuddled on the last couple of projects. Because I told you, Mike, some of the things that he says spiritually, and religion-wise, and about the dichotomy of blacks, it's like, oh no, number one person I want to interview. Long list of questions. Would love to see him dance around this shit.
Leroy Green with the super chat says, "What's up, A2HH? The Rock is in the building." But anyway, Drake broke almost every musical record within a decade. Yes, he has writers, but to do that, he has to be writing himself for the most part. I mean, if it was that easy, guys, I mean, let's just be perfectly honest. Other people would get those writers.
This is why I say that voice, and this is what I mean about voice matters too. Mike, when Whitney Houston sang "I Will Always Love You," you think anybody give a damn that Whitney didn't write that record?
No, it's execution. I mean, she has, but that's a vocal thing. Like Whitney has a once in a lifetime voice.
So is rap, is what I'm trying to say. This is what I keep trying to stress this year that I've realized. No, we keep trying to discount in hip hop an equation and a formula that's always existed in every other version of music, and that is that no, voice actually matters first.
Yeah.
Not lyrics.
Because when rappers' voices change, rappers' voices change, the whole music changes.
Because they have to stylistically change. Even the beats they pick have to change because your voice sounds better over certain types of production. Correct. And we try to put, and I'm guilty of it too. I've been one of the main proponents of it. And so this has been a change for me too. It's like, no, I don't want to hear, like, how about this? Like I love the Far Side, Mike. Imagine somebody like Fat Lip trying to do like a Dear Mama or a Changes. It's like, no, that ain't gonna work. Pac's voice.
I mean, even if we talk about, let's just say this for hypothetical purposes, Busta Rhymes doing Dear Mama.
Hell no.
Vocally, do you want to hear that? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you want to hear Tupac doing Everything Remains Raw?
Right, and this is what I mean. So, I think like it's like this. You know, when Prince was with the Revolution, I mean, there were probably people there that wanted to check Wendy and Lisa out. But you ain't going to no Prince and the Revolution show to see Wendy and Lisa and the Doctor. Came to see Prince.
Right.
The vocalist. Yeah. Even when they were in a band, you get what I'm saying? The Rolling Stones. People aren't coming to watch Keith Richards play the guitar all night. They're coming to hear Mick Jagger sing all night.
No, that's
voice.
Kendrick Outlaw.
What we love Chuck D for so much, man. His voice was so powerful when I heard it.
Yeah. Kendall Outlaw.
It made his words more powerful because his voice was powerful.
Facts.
It matters. It matters just as much as the words that come out or the vocal cords that exercise them. Yes, they do.
Kendall Outlaw with the super chat says, "Why do we always compare rappers against each other? Other genres don't do this." Well, other genres also don't have diss records either, right? Other genres also don't have face-to-face battles. I mean, we watched 8 Mile. We watched URL. I mean, it's just a different genre. And so when you have competitive fervor, it's kind of like, you know what I'm saying, basketball and hip-hop are one and the same. That's why we're always making those correlations. There's a level of competition. We don't really rank people in other genres either. That's a rap thing. And they do kind of do it now because rappers have always done it. No singer or rock star or whatever is going out there singing that they're the greatest singer of all time. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or a rock star talking about, I'm the greatest guitar player of all time. I mean, you could even trace it back to Muhammad Ali. And some would say that he was doing some rhyming too when he was out there prepping people for fights. And, yo, he was selling it. I'm the greatest. And hip-hop comes from that. So that's why you get these competitive back and forth and these comparisons because it's rooted in it.
No, the competitive nature is more sports driven. I'll give you that. But this is what I'm saying. In the competitive nature of it, you can't lose the musicality of it.
Right.
And the main instrument that a person has when they are stepping to the mic is their voice, not their lyrics, because the lyrics come out of your vocal cords. It's the voice first that you hear. Yeah. Like, it's just the truth of the matter. It's like we can't act like it doesn't matter. Like, I'm going to tell you one of the big drawing points. Like, you remember this, Mike? Like, Goody Mob sounded so Southern when they came out to other people that people thought it was cool because vocally
It was different than what people were used to hearing.
No,
Like
you're right.
Andre and Outkast sound like they're from the South, but they don't sound like they're deep Southern. Goody Mob sounded deep South,
No,
deep
for real.
Southern. That was their voices that did that, Mike, not the lyrics. You get what I'm saying?
I think No Vaseline.
Cujo's voice.
I think No Vaseline is powerful because of Ice Cube's voice. Now, some of the things that he's saying, of course, but the intensity of Ice Cube's voice on No Vaseline, it makes the song hit even harder.
Hold on, you remember when Kanye's on Drink Champs and he's talking about how Face switched the flow with his voice on Mary Jane?
Yep.
No, you can't do that like with a regular voice.
Yeah.
The voice matters. That Face do that.
Kanye's smart.
And this is what I mean about how this is more like sport than the other sports, because this is what I mean. The voice in music is just like the height in basketball, Mike.
Right.
You born with it or you not.
Yep.
And
you can't teach
what you can with it. That's why we always have these little man conversations. And when little man, we still mean niggas taller than us, but 6'3" and under, because we understand that part of the way this sport gets played, it's a height thing. Mm-hmm. Stop acting like rap's not a voice thing. You get what I'm saying? But basketball is a hype thing. Rap is a voice thing. Yep. It's the first time you heard Chuck D's voice. It's the first time. I hate to be the one to break it to people. We talk about Method Man and how great his voice is. Mike, it's definitely the voice. Lyrically on Enter the Wu-Tang, like Method Man isn't like some supreme bar work exercise. It's his flow and his voice that you're attracted to. Yep. It's not some great lyrical exercise.
Hey, you get off my cloud. You don't know me and you don't know my style.
Right. Here I am, the Method Man. Like, that ain't like, he's not sitting up there doing no extreme literary devices. His voice is infectious.
Yeah.
Just like 6'9" point guards are going to win more championships than 6-foot point guards.
What is this? Centera TV, says, closest diss track we got from K-Dot is The Heart Part 4. Huh. Who was that going at? Trying to remember that. What did he say on The Heart Part 4 to make y'all think that? Let's see. All right. I think we got some more super chats. Then we'll go on to this Jim Jones discussion, because I really want to talk about this. And really, I want to call it a Pusha T discussion, really. Mad Max says, Mike, to hear energy, then you hear... what is it? The Ride DNA? Oh, the Ride DNA 5 a.m. Not. Okay. I think he wrote 5 a.m. I don't know. Leroy Green with the super chat says, Coop, voice is what you are born with, not a skill. But height is too, though.
So is height. Yeah. Y'all, that's what I'm saying. Nobody, when we call Magic Johnson the greatest point guard of all time, we don't sit up there and say, well, he's supposed to because he's 6'9". You can't teach height. You can't teach voice. It's the way that it gets distributed.
Yeah.
It's just a fact.
Anime Bros podcast.
The only person that's even close to making, I think the only guys that are top 20 players all time, Mike, that are under 6'4" are Steph and Isaiah. Think about how many guys have played basketball that we only got 2 top 20 players.
And most of the guys,
6'3".
But most of the guys that play are under 6'3".
Correct.
That's just the law of averages. It's not that many people on the planet who are 6'4" and above. I'll say 6'7" and above. It's a very small percentage.
I'll say 6'5". I'll say 6'5" and above.
Yeah.
How about this? Wade is 6'4" and a half. People, when Wade and Gabby used to come through the airport, like, he damn near be the tallest nigga in the airport when he was walking through, Mike. Unless there was another ball team there.
Yeah.
When he was walking through, and they be flying international, it's like, and Dwayne Wade walks by, no, he'd be the tallest person in the Sky Club walking by. He's 6'4" and a half.
Right. Anime Bros with the podcast with super chat. He says, have you guys seen Nas's favorite 25 albums? No Pac. I didn't see that.
I didn't see that. And I would find that hard to believe, no Pac.
Right. Luke Alla Hustle with the super chat says, but you know what? I want to say this. Pac, you remember that famous clip where Pac's telling the engineer to go to the next song? It's like, I rap my verse, the hook be what that nigga said last or whatever. You know what I'm saying? We get this, we go on to the next, let the engineer do his thing, and we get to the next song. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I did that with my last album. The whole album might not be all that, but you know what I'm saying? I got joints on there. So his focus was to make songs, not really to make albums. And he said that himself. Blue Collar
Grew up
Hustle
in a
with the
different
super.
time too.
Yeah.
I told you he's the transitional figure.
He is. Blue Collar Hustle with the super chat says, we can't discount Kendrick's accomplishments either. First rapper with a Pulitzer Prize, 17 Grammys. Most acclaimed album of 2015, most acclaimed album of 2017. These are accolades Drake doesn't have. I'm with you. Square up then. Seems like an even matchup to me.
First of all, this is what I be talking about when I be talking about him. When we be talking about these other guys, we don't be like, man, he's got 17 Grammys and a Pulitzer. When I talk about Jay, I be like, man, that nigga made Streets is Watching an Imaginary Player and Where I'm From. and you know what I'm saying? No, that dude made The Evils and Friend or Foe. I don't be bringing up, man, Jay sold 5 million records and won 23 Grammys. I don't say that shit when I'm talking about Jay. I don't give a damn about that.
He got more Grammys than anybody. Actually.
Where them records at? Yeah. Where them records at, Mike? That's all we care. Where the record at? How you sound on the record? Listen. All this Pulitzer Prize shit. Who are? Do he have a dream? Is he Dr. King or something? He out here saving us? No, hell no. Nigga rap.
He's just not battle tested. That's just a fact. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not an opinion. He's not battle tested. But he dropped some subliminals during certain periods. He has the Control verse where he basically told the hip hop public that anybody who steps, I'm going to destroy him. And that never happened.
Well, on guard, motherfucker. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, this guy clearly wants it. This is somebody that clearly you're lyrically better than. You got better songs. I mean, you got better albums than. And you're as accomplished as he is, or, close to it in some people's mind. Go for it. And his name was mentioned in the Control verse. So it's not like it's some off-brand person. Like,
it's not like, not to be funny, it's not like somebody like Black Thought or Conway lyrically is poking at him. So what's the hold up?
I don't understand.
But here's what I will tell you too. And this is what I mean about how Drake's a better songwriter. This is what I mean. I don't mean if you give them both a pen and a paper, you're probably going to be more astounded by the things that Kendrick thinks and he has to say. And that's great. If this wasn't the music business, did you see what he did when he was against Meek Mill? How quick he was able to actually make the record.
Yeah.
There is a productivity and an efficiency rate to this as well. And so here's what I'm saying to you is like, I bet you Drake has skeleton tracks already laid out because that's how he works.
He's constantly working.
We just seen how Kendrick worked. Now don't we? Now what makes y'all think that he can even go make this record fast enough to make it viable? Because we don't even have any evidence of that anymore. You get what I'm saying?
No, that's true. And even
how much evidence do we really have that he can like I know right now if this shit were to crank off tonight, no. What's today? Wednesday? No, we're gonna hear a Drake record by Friday. Right.
But even that shot that he gave Drake on King Kunta, like, this should be your opening to go ahead and close the deal. Because let's look at this on the other end, right? For the people like Mad Max, and I'm sure it's a whole lot because Drake has a lot of fans. A lot of people who feel like Drake is over him in that way, he could totally shut that conversation down. And it shouldn't be that hard to shut down if Kendrick is who everybody says he is. Melvin Wright was
very problematic. Very, very problematic how he continues to behave in this space and get away with it. Nobody else gets away with this stuff. People think that it's me. It's like, no, I've been a hip hop head almost like my whole adult life. I've never seen this artist like get some of the passes that he gets for the rhetoric. Do you understand he's the only person on like that Billboard top list that wasn't battle tested? Even Nicki battle tested, Mike.
It's true.
Wayne, Drake,
it's true.
Pop, Big, J, M,
you're right.
Nas, Cam, 50, X, Kiss,
yeah,
LL, Kane, maybe not Kane. Well, no, there was even some Kane and Rakim smoke. They're throwing some jabs, taking some shots.
Even though I don't quite agree with the people that Eminem chose to respond to, he's still
Still got
battle
on
tested.
record.
It is
Still
what it
got on,
is.
still got on record.
He's
Mike,
still
you know what? Hey, Lupe.
Snoop made Pimp Slap.
Mike.
Yeah.
Lupe, Mike. What
Lupe's
if
battle
Lupe were to
tested.
step with Kendrick? That's what I'm saying. No. If you were to hide about something like that, it'd be like, well, you know.
I mean, do you take yourself back to like 1999, right? And if Jay was coming at Nas at full force, you think Nas would have been able to get away with not responding? No.
Listen to what I'm about to say, and I'm going to say this again. When I was on the Haters Ball, I was telling them this. It's like, no, I knew who Jay was in that time, Mike. Even though I was like waving like the Nas flag. No, I told you I went and got that Rockaware outfit that he wore on the cover of Volume 3. Jay was that dude like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was like that. And I'm very, very serious when I say this. No. Ether changed things for Nas too. Like, he didn't just need to make a comeback disc record. He needed to make a top 5 disc record, and he did.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't even about like the battle at the point. It's like, oh no. It wasn't even a question of whether he was about to respond. It's like, no. You need to make one of the best disc records we've ever heard right now.
A lot of people thought Nas was done at that point. Me included.
Right now, and guess what he did? That's what I'm talking about. We don't know if Kendrick has that in him. We know Nas has that in him because we heard the Stillmatic freestyle.
I want to be perfectly fair. At that time, we didn't know if Nas had that in him or not, but he proved that. Yeah, the Stillmatic freestyle.
That's what I'm saying. No. We knew because we had just had some evidence. That's why I was like, no.
Yeah, that was debate. That was debate. But when we heard the full takeover, it was like,
Right. It's like, oh, you took. Because here's how it looked. It looked like, oh shit, Jay set Nas up with that. That's why we knew he had to respond, because the streets was talking about it like, yeah, Jay set Nas up for that fall right there like that. So the response was like it wasn't even a question of if he had to respond.
Yeah. Melvin Wright with the super chat says, I just noticed what's missing from Mr. Morale. Dr. Dre isn't the executive producer like he was on the first 3 releases on Interscope/Aftermath. That's interesting. I never knew that.
Said that. That's the first thing I said, Mike. I was like, where Dre at?
I thought you were just talking about on production. I didn't know that he was the executive producer of the other 3 albums.
Definitely To Pimp a Butterfly and Good Kid, Mad City. I don't know about Damn, but To Pimp a Butterfly and Good Kid, Mad City is executive produced by Dre, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely hear him on Good Kid, Mad City. Maybe To Pimp a Butterfly, but I thought, damn, I didn't think he had anything to do with. So yeah, that's news to me.
Mike, this is what I'm saying about there's levels to this. I fuck with your solar ether.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Raising the bar. I mean, look, when you
nobody trying to hear that I'm not coming out the box shit. It's
when
rap.
You got the number,
it's superhero sport. We fight.
Yeah, when you got the number 1 and 2 MCs going at each other, you have to raise the bar. Yeah. Blue Collar Hustle with the super chat says, are we talking about accolades or songs, Coop? You brought up the accomplishments, and now you're talking about songs. Kendrick called out Drake several times, including live at the BET Awards, and Drake just cried. Blue Collar Hustle's on it today. What say you, Coop?
First of all, I didn't know he called him out live before. I missed that. So
I'm talking about sure make a sensitive rapper put on his pajama clothes or something like that. Remember the cypher?
I mean, right, but I mean, see, this is what I mean. This is what I mean about stuff Kendrick is shrouded in when he's saying that y'all think that that's a Drake shot. But think about how many niggas and Drake got that's actually running around in pajama pants that do stuff like that now. Like, that could have been an Uzi shot. Or you get what I'm saying?
Well, no, they didn't exist at the time. Yeah, it was about Drake. This was like 2000. This is like right after Good Kid, Mad City-ish, around that time.
I mean, I don't remember, Mike. It's been so long since I had an opportunity to follow Kendrick heavily because, he disappeared for 5 years. So,
well, see, the thing is, man, like, he did say all those things, and I agree with Blue Collar Hustler. But now, the guy is saying stuff back. What's up? You know what I'm saying? Like,
this is what I mean, too, is that, listen to what I'm saying. Look at the time that Kendrick was taking those shots. Who had more to gain?
Exactly.
So it looked like maybe Kendrick might have been trying to bait Drake early on for notoriety.
And I'm sure Drake's sitting there looking at it like, yo, I was just on this
I
nigga's
was just on
album,
your album.
and I had the biggest hit from the album. Really?
It was your first single.
Yeah.
With me.
Well, second single. I think they did Pull Up Drank first, but it was the biggest single.
Did they?
Yeah. You know what? And I think the other thing, too, on ASAP's album, which was the single, Fucking Problems, I think it was second single. Goldie was probably number one. And I'm sorry. I think Drake has the better verse than Kendrick on Fucking Problems. And I think that was intentional. I think Drake was like, yeah, I'm coming here to compete.
But let's go back to the time frame briefly. It's like, you see, Kendrick had something to gain around the time that he was making those notarized statements. Listen to what I'm saying right now. Drake stands nothing to gain by doing this right now. He's already Drake. And this is what I mean about I respect him. It just looked to me like he's competitive and wants to fight. That's how I like my fucking MCs. Not hiding in a corner or disappearing for years at a time. So give me the guy that's like, no, we're both legends now. Now I just want to fight your ass.
Like I said, I think the moment to set it off is he sees this Billboard list, and I own Billboard.
I agree.
You guys put him at number 2. He's been missing for 5 years and put this out, and I've been nonstop, and I'm continuously getting awards and getting you guys ratings at your award shows. Okay, I'm going at this man, and he's going to have to prove that he's better. And I respect that. Anime Bros with the super chat says, the list is on Complex. It was low-key disappointing. I was low-key disappointed. He's talking about the Nas list.
I hadn't heard.
How many people have their individual favorite albums? Curtis, 75 Black with the super chat says, Kendrick has Control and Nicki has Monster. So the fuck what? Mo Better Co with the super chat says, and y'all wonder why Kendrick still hasn't responded to Lupe.
See, that's what I mean. See, not responding to Lupe.
Well, that's smart.
We not right. We got. You know, it's like, man, did you hear Lupe come for Kendrick? It's like, man, that nigga might want to be quiet.
Lupe has a computer up here, man. Him and people like Jay-Z.
Like, no. You shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But this right here, oh, you should do this. And if you don't, I'm going to take issue with it because this isn't a Lupe or a Black Thought or somebody like that sitting in front of you. It's like, if that was the battle, it's like, I would tell him, be like, hey, fam, you haven't made a product in 5 years. The product that you made wasn't that good. Go ahead and let him have that. Sit this one out. But Drake, no, you need to take that.
Man, when Lupe sat there and learned, and not only learned Royce's diss, but spit it back and then spit his own diss record in a matter of hours, I was like, I've never seen or heard anything like that before.
No.
That shit was crazy.
Shit, Mike. I know my mind worked that way, but you have to have, this is what I mean about doing work, Mike. You have to work in the habit of that skill of memorization like that. Like, remember when we were just recording and I was walking around just, like, that's what he does. I know that's what he does. You know what I'm saying? He just start, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like, Mike, it's the frightening pace and efficiency at which he does it, which lets you know he's constantly in practice. He's constantly working. So it's like, no, I need about 7 hours.
And the complexity of his bars, too. And it's one thing to put it together, but to execute on it in a matter of hours and then upload it and all of that. I mean, with the time that all those things took, he probably did that in like a 2-hour time period. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to go get the beat. Then you got to go, you know what I'm saying? Okay, let me go learn this real quick. He probably learned Royce's diss to spit it back to himself or on the track in like 30 minutes, if that. You know what I mean? Like, that shit is impressive, man.
I'll say it took... Yeah, actually, Mike, I would agree with you. It probably
I would love to know that process.
Minutes, respectfully.
Yeah, I would love to know that process. Matt Max in the Super Chat says, Drake mastered the talk of his era. He's a caption MC. This caption era, he's the best showman in hip-hop since LL Cool J and Jigga. Push knew that was going to be his approach. So that was his approach. Yeah, you're right. I think Pusha handled this the smartest. But I think that what Joe Budden did kind of set the blueprint for the way that Pusha was going to move on that record. He's like, yeah, if I do it this way, people are going to just ignore it. Let me do something that is shock and awe.
The beats are banging, nigga. The hooks did it.
That's why they was calling him. What they was calling him? Pusha T with the TEA. It's funny, but that's the direction he had to go to get people's attention.
But he understood that that's what he needed to do. He understood the times, he understood the message, and he executed. And this is what I mean about what Kendrick's not prepared for. There is nothing about what he's done or doing that says he's even paying attention or cares to what's going on.
Right. I don't even think he wants to be the best anymore.
I can't please everybody.
Mo Better Cover the super chat says Lupe stepped to Kendrick multiple times, and y'all know what happened. People on TDE responded to Lupe, and Kendrick not Kendrick himself. Responded for Kendrick and not Kendrick himself.
I love TDE. Mm-hmm. Ain't nobody over there want nothing with Lupe.
Not many people, period, want it with Lupe.
Don't do that to yourself.
We still waiting to hear from some new Royce da 5'9" records. Like, man, we haven't heard any new Royce music since that. And I say that respectfully. I'm just being real, man. Like, and I remember too, even bigger feat. This was the first time I realized that Lupe was a real problem. Most Def now, Yasin Bey, one of my favorite MCs all time, one of the most talented MCs I've ever heard, was out here talking cash, trash on the internet, talking about some battle anybody, I don't care who you tell. And this nigga Lupe raised his hand like, yo, let's go. And then he puts out a video or something, man, I ain't got time to write battle raps and stuff. I'm like, yo, man, it's like that with this Lupe guy. Like, Jesus. Roast back down like that.
You had time until Lupe was the person who put his hand up in the classroom. Then your ass didn't have time anymore. That showed me a lot. What time it is with that. Look here. I just realized something. I just had an epiphany. I just realized why Lupe don't like me. It's because I picked Royce. don't think he didn't hear that shit. He heard that shit. He like, oh, this motherfucker Coop think that Royce better than me.
I was like, nah, man, Lupe got this one, man. And respect to Royce, but yeah.
I respect them both, and I still respect Lupe, despite, the back and forth last year, you know what I'm saying? Because he's not to be fucked with on the mic about shit like this, you know what I'm saying?
He got a computer up there, man.
Well, this is what I mean, though. The better songwriter usually wins the battle. That's why I picked Royce. Right. He's a better song maker than Lupe is. He is. Yeah, I do.
I think that's debatable. Where would you say is...
Conceptually... he does a lot of the things that Lupe does, but he just explains it in more understandable terms. You understand that?
Yeah, but Lupe still has a kick push, a superstar, and stuff like that. I don't know if I could say Royce does.
Respectfully, he's so far removed from that stuff, though, Mike.
He is, but did Royce ever have that? I would go to Boom would be my first.
Yeah, I was thinking Royce. Boom would be where I go.
Lupe, and that's before any of that.
I said this on the Haters Ball too, Mike. Like I like The Cool more than I like Midnight Marauders, actually, on a personal level. So I think highly of Lupe and highly of like certain pieces of work. The Cool is like that. So The Cool's better than anything Royce ever did, and I'll never take that away from Lupe.
So what do you think about stuff like Hip Hop Saved My Life? Like, does Royce have any of that type of stuff in his arsenal?
See, he has some stuff like that, but it's not as commercialized because that's when Lupe was playing the game. Right. And so it's not as notarized. So the whole Hip Hop Saved My Life, Superstar, Paris, Tokyo. Yeah, no, Royce doesn't have that. But I think that was also around the time where Lupe wouldn't have had that had he not played the game. And he didn't want to play that game after The Cool.
Okay. Esquire with the super chat says, just found out Heaven was the last song on UGK's. Heaven was the last song that UGK recorded together. Super eerie. What's the better album, Riding Dirty or 400 Degrees? Where does Bun B rank? I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I think both of those albums are classic. I'm leaning 400 Degrees, man. 400 Degrees is a special moment. And Juvenile is a special MC too that I think he doesn't get a lot of credit for.
Can I tell you it's a tie? Because I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Production. I think the production is better on 400 Degrees. But Pimp and Bun just sounds special on Riding
Oh,
Dirty.
no, I agree. I agree.
Sounds special. Their chemistry sounds special on Riding Dirty.
No, I agree, 100%.
That's when their pimp talk is just like legendary, and the way that they play off on each other on that album is so beautifully done. So I think they're classics of equal stature for different reasons.
I think that New Orleans, to me, has some of the most unique MCs that hip hop has ever heard. And when I heard Juvenile, and even when I go back to listen to 400 Degrees, I never heard anybody display their shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, even with what he did with High, the way Juvenile tells stories, man. Like, and you remember that verse that he did on the Tedder Club Up Thugs, that Player Why You Hating? It's like, he has conversations with himself, and Juvenile doesn't, and I think this is that, I don't want to say New York bias, but we all have a standard of what we feel like great MCing is. The thing about the guys in New Orleans, and Currency's in that mode too, they do things in a way that we've never heard anybody else do it. Like, you ain't never heard nobody rap like Mystical. You never heard anybody rap like Wayne. You never heard anybody rap like Juvenile. You never heard anybody rap like Currency. And for me, it's like the originality that comes from a 400 Degrees and the music that came out of that and the perspective that came out of that, that's kind of a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
Do you remember Gangs of New York?
Mm-hmm.
And how they are breaking down, like, how all the towns and the establishments came together, and how you see how it gives you, I like Gangs of New York because it shows you why New York is the melting pot that it is, because it always was.
Mm-hmm.
The closest thing we have to that in the South is New Orleans, Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
And in English and grammatical terms, it would be called a pidgin. Pidgin. A pidgin is a succinct dialect and tongue that is native to a region of people that really only they know and understand.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when you hear somebody speak, you could tell that they're from New Orleans off jump. There's a few places like that. New Orleans, Staten Island, Philly, off the top of my mind. Like, you hear somebody talking from Philly,
Bay.
You already know.
The
Bay, too, yeah.
The Bay.
Yeah.
But this is what I mean about New Orleans. New Orleans, historically, like in English grammatical, like in the lexicon of like word usage and verbiage, is considered to be a pigeon town. And so the rappers that come out of there, they thrive off what I like to call now the pigeon theory, and not the bird, like the actual pigeon theory, where the succinct in different dialect. They all got a different dialect because that's how the dialect rolls down there. Their whole dialect is different than the rest of the nation, literally, because of all the influence of cultures over a course of time, and also geographical location play a part in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so they like, so the boot is one of the most unique places that you're going to hear people come out of vocally, style-wise, rhythmic and timing-wise, because they operate on a different pigeon than the average Black American. Yeah.
Old Dirty is so different, and he's one of those guys where I was like, yo, where is he coming from with this? Mystical has always been that for me. Every Mystical record that would come out, like, man, how did he get to this point? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you hear his delivery, his inflection, the way he makes the song, whether it's Here I Go, whether it's Shake It Fast, whatever, like his approach, like, what is this nigga thinking? You know what I'm saying? It's a very interesting thing. And I could say the same thing for Wayne, too. Because Wayne's whole flow, style, voice, I know he said he got the sound effect thing from Missy, which I never would have put together, which I should have put together because we're all in the same age bracket and we love Missy to death. But he did it in a way where it was his own. It didn't sound like he was taken from anything.
I agree.
But voice is a big part of that too. Leroy Green with the super chat says, I gotta say this, and I mean this with the utmost respect. When Nas mentioned his mom battling cancer, Jay could no longer diss Nas. I say that to also say that there are times when responding isn't the time. Well, Leroy, we have to be perfectly
like that,
we got to be perfectly honest here, Leroy. He knew that was happening when he went at the guy.
That's part. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
And this is what I mean. part of the reason why he chose that time is because he knew he was in personal turmoil as well. It wasn't just Nostradamus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Well, I just don't believe he wasn't. I mean, I don't know this, but I don't believe that he wasn't privy to that information. You know what I'm saying?
Not to be funny, but when you were consorting, with people's exes and such, and you share children with those people, and information like that finds its way around. And also just from having recently been to New York, Mike, Brooklyn and Queens is right next to fucking each other.
I mean, as far as the industry goes, they were all dealing with the same people. Steve Stout being one of those common denominators. Not to call him out, but I'm sure a whole bunch of other people. It's a small circle.
Call him out.
It's a small circle. Everybody knows each other. Centera TV with the super chat says the hard part for he was dissing Big Sean and Drake. Okay. It is interesting that Kendrick's always chosen to kind of go with Big Sean. I've always heard that Humble was kind of a shot at Sean, and I never really understood that. Is that competitive fervor or something? Like, what does Sean do to anybody? He's like the least problematic rapper of his generation.
I agree, Mike. He's been a great guy to everybody.
Yeah, he collaborates with everybody. He don't talk shit about people. He just does his thing. Like, why would you even come at Big Sean?
Easy target.
I don't know.
No, for real, easy target. It's like, no, pick on somebody your own size, fam. Since you're the best lyricist of our era, go challenge one of the other great lyricists from a previous era. I don't know, Lupe, Black Thought, Nas. See how that goes.
Well, speaking of Big Sean, I think it was Jim Jones or maybe it was the other gentleman in the conversation that said that they would put Big Sean over Pusha T. So this takes us to our next subject. There was a discussion about Pusha T being, I guess he's number 29 on this Billboard list. People are still talking about this list. It's wild. But anyway, people were going in and saying that Pusha T wasn't a top 50 MC all time. And Jim Jones goes in there like, no, Pusha T's not a top 50 MC all time. Tell me what solo record that Pusha T has that's a banger. I'm paraphrasing. And just like Pusha T's not that guy, not top 50. First of all, what do you think? Do you agree? I know you don't, but what do you think about this whole notion that Jim Jones feels so strongly that Pusha's not top 50 and said NBA YoungBoy deserves a spot in the top 50 over Pusha T?
It's fascinating to me where this animus is coming from because I can't see any reason for there to be any animus to make such a erroneous statement.
I feel like, when it comes to MCs, right, and people who've been in the industry and understand what it takes to, especially guys who come from a similar era and what it takes to really stay around this long, there's a level of a fraternity where even if you don't believe that person's top 50, you don't go in. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't go in saying all kind of stuff like, he also said that, all he raps about is selling drugs that he probably didn't sell and all that stuff. And that's like, whoa. Where is this coming from? This is coming from another place.
So let's unpack a couple things. The Feds was never on Dipset the way they was on the Clips and Re-Up gang. So the fact that he's saying that, those dudes had the Feds on them. Mike, they came into this rap game with the Feds on them. I'm from North Carolina. I know people in Virginia. You understand what I'm saying? That's not a fucking joke. The police taking surveillance footage of them at the grinding video, literally their first big break, that's a real thing. That's not an imaginary player story. That's some real player shit going on. They literally have been getting monitored by the authorities from the moment they stepped into this industry. I don't know no smoke around Dipset like that. Not like that. And furthermore, Mike, and this is what I'm saying too, Dipset doesn't have an album better than Daytona, and they don't have a single better than Grinding. So, and I'm talking about the whole collective, so I'm including Cam in it too. It's like Cam don't have no Grinding.
Well, this is what I will say.
What, Ballin' is better than Grinding to you?
But see, they said by himself, right? Well, we could technically say that, oh boy, that got Santana on it. It does. So That's not a Cam song by itself. Now I could see Cam being over Push, but I don't agree with that. But
I can't.
if somebody wanted to make that argument, I could see that. But
They
I
don't
think
have it.
that what we have to really appreciate is Pusha T's longevity, number one. We also have to appreciate the classics that he's been a part of as a group, Daytona, and I want to single Daytona out, and also the great work that he's put in when it comes to his feature game. Like, he's given, I mean, we talk about My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy all the time. He has two of the best verses on that album, if we keep it all the way above.
Yeah, it's two of the top 5 verses on that.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, that verse on Runaway is brilliant. And that
Two of the
verse
best
on
5
So
verses on the
Appalled
album
is
belong to Pusha
crazy.
T. I'm aware.
Yeah.
And that song, look, the best rap album of the last 15 years, he has 2 of the 5 best verses on. Yeah.
Yeah, we can't act like that didn't happen. And not to mention the whole battle tested nature of him coming at the biggest artist in hip hop at his height. You know what I'm saying? Like, that happened.
I love Cam, man, but you know what I mean? And I love Cam's style, and I love how Cam, low key, not even low key, Cam totally switched and pivoted his whole style up and made himself into a whole nother name and brand.
Incredible.
And brought Dipset along too. So shout out to Cam. But if you think Cam's better than Pusha T, that's that New York bias.
I think there's an argument to be made that Cam has made better albums solo than Pusha T.
Where? No, that's not true though.
You don't think
that's
Come Home With Me, Purple Haze, SDE?
SDE?
Yeah,
no, Mike, those are all solid. None of those albums are stellar, Mike. They're all dope albums. None of those albums is
what
like,
three
wow.
Pusha T albums would you put up against those three?
Oh, I mean, I'll take Daytona.
Okay.
My Name Is My Name. And we can take the last one. I'll take the last one. Yeah,
It's Almost Dry?
Yeah, My Name Is My Name.
It's Almost Dry up against
and Daytona.
SD?
Yeah, that's a better 3-pack than you just gave me. Like, we can go record for record. That's what I'm saying. It's like, lyrically, it's not a conversation. Like, MC to MC, it's not a conversation. Pusha T has actually been on more big songs than Cam. And this is what I mean about some of those guest appearances. Like I Love You with Justin Timberlake. Yeah, he's on that.
He is on
that.
that.
Yeah, right. Has Cam ever been on a record that big?
Well, the other part that made me feel like this was somewhat personal was the fact that, and maybe I need to watch the whole podcast, but for him to go all in about Pusha T not having a banger by himself, no one says these things about Andre 3000. The man was, they had, on that list, they had Andre in the top 15, and he doesn't have a single rap song by himself. And it's like, come on, man. Like, why are we doing this to Pusha like he didn't make Daytona? Like he didn't make Numbers on the Board? Like he didn't make the record from last year?
If You Know, You Know.
Well, I was gonna say If You Know, You Know, but I was gonna go last year.
Let me ask you
with
something.
the 88 Keys record.
I'm being very serious when I say this, and I'm asking for the people in the chat that think Cam is in the wheelhouse with Push. Name one record that Cam has that's part of the lexicon of the culture the way If You Know, You Know is. I'll wait. Matter of fact, name the Dipset record like that. You feel what I'm saying? And so I like Jim.
Oh boy, Hey Ma.
Huh?
Hey Ma. Oh boy.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Nobody says, oh boy, or hey ma. We say, if you know, you know. It's part of Black lexicon and part of culture now. When have they ever made a record that stuck like that?
Well, Jim could say, We Fly High. That was a cultural piece.
No, and I would give him that.
And now, I think that record, in all fairness, is bigger than any record that Pusha T ever made.
Huh?
I think that record is bigger than any individual song that Pusha T ever made as a solo artist.
I think it might have been the biggest rap song that year, Mike. It was definitely the biggest rap song that summer. And listen to what I'm saying. That's bigger than anything Cam ever made, too, while y'all talking about Push.
It's like, no, right, it is.
somebody within Cam's own camp who wasn't even a rapper made a bigger hit record than him. And y'all think Cam better than Push?
CJ Kid with the super chat says, how would Nas do against Lupe's Computer? That would be interesting. but we would never see anything like that. Hopefully,
Lupe respects Nas and looks up to Nas too much.
I don't think we would ever see that. Chris with the super chat says, "I gotta respond to Leroy Coop. People forget Def Jam made him redo Ether so many times. Other rappers that heard the original was like, oh my gosh, can't put this out." Shit, according to dude over at Billboard, he didn't think that the one that actually came out should have been put out either. Interesting stuff. Some more super chats I want to get to before we continue this, because I got a lot more to say about the way people speak about Daytona. CJ Kidd with the super chat says, I've seen many people cry to these Tupac songs on reaction videos, but I wanted to ask you guys, which is more heartfelt, emotional song? Keep Your Head Up or Dear Mama? Dear Mama. We want to go that route. But Keep Your Head Up is more of a inspirational song in that way. Mad Max in the super chat says, Big Sean dot 2 to more interviews. I'm sorry, he said Big Sean diss dot 2. No more interview a dot diss. Oh, okay. I want to hear that. I don't think I heard that.
I'm with you on the here's the thing. Keep Your Head Up is a great, great record, but we all have a mother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so Timeless Theme, it might be the most timeless theme song, you know what I mean, that hip hop's ever had. It's a song about a black man who loves his mother, despite all of the trials and tribulations that they've been through. There's something about it that relates back to the inner city angst that hip hop was built off and based of, you know? Mm-hmm. He's explaining the love through the angst. That's what hip hop is about.
Anime Bros Podcast with a super chat says Pusha T is better than 50 and he's 17th. So yeah. I mean, I think Pusha T has put together collectively, and I fuck with 50 heavy. I think he's collectively put together a better career than 50.
Yes.
But in a vacuum, though, 50 is.
See, how about this? If you were to tell me 50's better than, how about this? 50's got more of a case to say that he's better than Pusha T overall than Cam could ever pray to have. Because 50's got the albums, the classics, the records, and the guest appearances. Yes, he does.
Yeah.
So don't.
And so really taking things on as a soloist.
Hold on. Including jumping on Raid on Push's joint.
Yeah.
50 and Cam has done work with Push too. That's why I was kind of surprised at the Jim Jones thing. It's like they did Popeyes together. So it's like, I know he know.
That was a while back, but yeah. I mean, the only thing I can kind of take from this is the fact that Jim Jones was just recently on stage with Drake at the Apollo at Drake's show. And Drake was praising the Dipset. I don't know if they had conversations behind the scenes like, yo, dude's at 29, he not top 50. I don't know. That's the only thing I could deduce from it. But like I said, I thought that whole thing talking about, digging deeper and saying that all Pusha does is talk about selling drugs and this and that. I was like, okay, now this feels like it's coming from somewhere else. Our Legacy with the super chat says,
Hold on, isn't this a dude that like literally when he had a reality TV show, like ran up on somebody and had the cameras get cut off because about the street affiliations? You get what I'm saying? It's like, no, what?
Yeah,
like dudes gotta remember,
kind of
we be watching them and watching what they do like all this time. So it's like, you're not part of that culture? Because I swear every time I hear Jim Jones rap, Mike, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
it's
rap about the same things Pusha T do. It's just Pusha T is like 20 times the rapper that he is. So it's like, I'd rather hear Pusha T rap. Although I like Jim. Like Preach on Swiss's album, I fuck with Preach.
It just sounds like, the tone of it sounded like Jim just never really dug Pusha T like that. You know what I'm saying?
Just say that you don't care for his music. You know what I'm saying?
Our Legacy with the super chat says, Daytona is not a classic. Very good album, not a classic.
Yeah, I think you don't know what you're talking
Why
about.
do people feel like Daytona's not a classic? I do want to address that because we get that often in this podcast.
I don't know what they're hearing because every time we ask people to explain to us what the album's missing, it be crickets up in this motherfucker.
It's the length always, and I guess one could say maybe there wasn't a hit single, but we just heard "If You Know, You Know" in a damn Arby's commercial. What commercial was that in? I don't know. I mean, it seems to have everything. Like you said, it has a beginning, middle, and end. The verses are flawless from beginning to end. The beats are flawless from beginning to end. One of Kanye's best verses, I think, of this era. Um, Infrared is an incredible closing. If You Know, You Know is an incredible opening. Um, the Games We Play is an awesome second song. Then you got Hard Piano, get a great Ross verse, get a great verse from Push, great hook. I mean, honestly, the only down part of that album is Come Back Baby, and that song is hard. I think the only reason why that song is considered a down period is because of everything else that's around it. Santeria is crazy. Y'all don't think Santeria is crazy? Y'all don't think What Would Meek Do is crazy? Y'all don't think that Infrared's crazy? Like, what are we missing here?
That's Kanye's best verse since My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
I won't feel right till I feel like Phil Knight, going for 6 rings like what Phil told Mike. 7 pill nights.
You know what that feels like?
No hiding my scars
hiding my
no more.
Scars, I show them like Seal Right.
Like, that whole album is full of bars like that.
What are we talking about? What do y'all be listening to?
I don't understand. Like, is this personal or something?
It's gotta be. Did Pusha T fuck y'all baby mama or something when he came to New York on tour? Like, what is going on?
Lower levels where you settle that. I'm the pot calling the kettle black. Where's no brick pedals at? Between God and where the devil's at. Had the double dutch and double back and backstroke to where the trouble's at. Exactly what the game's been missing. Like, the whole album is full of bars like that.
Mike, Fed's taking pictures like it's GQ. The Savioni collarbone is see-through. Angel on my shoulder, what should we do? Devil on the other, what would Meek do? Papa Willie, tell the judge to Akinelli. Middle fingers out the ghost screaming Machiavelli. Stop playing with me. Y'all are sitting up here doing indignant shit today. Stop that.
Salute to Roscoe. The message was pure. He seen what I seen when you see Wayne on tour. Flash without the fire. Another multi-platinum rapper trapped and can't retire. Niggas get exposed. I see the cracks and I'm the liar. Shit, I've been exposed. I see the crack and built the wire. Now who do you admire? Like, what am I missing?
No, Mike. Your rap songs is all trying my patience. What? The numbers ain't real without inflation.
I done do it. I done blew it. Been a conduit.
I don't know what the fuck y'all listening to.
I don't know. Because we're not just popping shit. We got evidence here. You know what I'm saying?
Evidence.
And tell me y'all don't like the beats or something. I disagree with that too. Like,
well, Ye's best production jobs, Mike.
I think so, truly. And especially under the circumstances.
It's his modern day best production job. It's the best production job he's done since My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
I think under the circumstances, it's one of the most impressive that he's done, period. I mean, you had the TMZ thing going on at the time. You had the Trump Oval Office thing going on at the time. Like, people was on his head, and he produced this album from beginning to end.
Am I too complex for complex con?
Everything
say cause a new debate. You see, he been out of touch. He cannot relate. His hallway too long, bitch too bad. Gotta surrogate his kid, get 2 dads. I be thinking, what would Tupac do?
You be thinking what new kids on the block do. Man, come on, man.
Stop playing with me. That album's a classic, right? Hold on. The same way this is why the album's a classic, because you can start reciting the stuff at the drop of a dime. You go from song to song, and it's all over the place. It's like, it's right in your face, masterful.
Yeah. After after the pain dries and the pain takes over, let's count this payola. It said, you can't take this shit. The Lord is my shepherd. I will not sleep. I'm just a short stone thrown from the streets. I bring my offering. I will not speak. Awaken my demons. You can hear that man screaming. I'm no different than the priest. Santeria. Yo, they say death comes in threes. How appropriate. We're going through the whole album here. Rush in like Soviets. Come on, man. Nah, man.
Y'all bugging.
Mad Max to the super chat says Cam dissed Nas and Hov and fake warned Cam is over push. Now Cam ain't scared. Cam and
Cam's not
50s.
scared.
Cam and 50s back and forth is the funniest rap beef in hip hop history. I would I would love to see a repeat of that. Yes, Diet Coke is what I was talking about. You know, we get on live television.
You talking about Diet Coke? That's what I'm saying. Like, this is what I mean, though. Like Cam doesn't, like, where's Cam's Let the Smoker Shine the Coupe or Brambleton? That's what I'm saying. Or fucking, If You Know, You Know. Or where's his Infrared? Where's Cam's premium disc record? You know what I'm saying? Like, while y'all saying all this stuff, it's like, no, I'm checking more boxes than Cam. If you want to say 50, I can see that, but
this is where Pusha gets both of them.
The only thing Push truly has over 50 is the rhyme thing.
And the longevity matters, man. Like, it does. Leroy Green with the super chat says, have you guys actually heard Jim Jones' albums? His and especially Cam's is better than Pusha's, respectfully. Purple Haze is ridiculous.
No, it's not. It's too long. It needs to be edited.
I like Purple Haze. I think Purple Haze is his best album, actually. Even though I think that the high points on Come Home.
It's his best production job. It's not his best album.
You think Come Home With Me is?
Yes.
I think the high points of Come Home With Me, Moving Weight.
Old Boy on there.
Yeah.
And Welcome to New York City. And Just Blaze the Rock. And Hey Ma, isn't that all Come Home With Me?
The Rock is ridiculous. Yeah.
Insane, Mike. Insane. The 4 records I just named is literally better than all the records that are on Purple Haze except for Get 'Em Girls.
No, I don't know about that. Moving Weight.
Get 'Em Girls.
Losing Weight. Not talking about Moving Weight. Losing Weight Part 2. Yeah. That shit was crazy.
I get computers putin'.
Yeah, love that line.
Call me, I do the shooting.
Incredible rhyme schemes, man.
Call me, I do the recruiting. I like his rhyme scheme. Where'd he go? When it's repping time, I get on extra grind.
Yeah.
Poughkeepsie to Pepperdine. Jeff Hamilton, Genesis, Leather Time. Listen to what he said. This is what I mean. He talking white boy shit. Jeff Hamilton, Genesis, Leather Time. Bitches say I'm the man. I tell them
never mind. Mad Max to the super chat says, "Coop, If You Know, You Know" was said before Pusha made that a song.
Right, but he made it into a song. They were saying bling bling in New Orleans before they made it a song too, motherfucker. Like, how the fuck you think these things come about?
Christopher Hogan.
Like y'all be acting like that the rappers create the words. Cream came from somebody that wrote Method Man a letter in jail, motherfucker.
Christopher Hogan with the super chat says, "We were saying If You Know, You Know in the 2000s, Coop."
No, we weren't. I was outside. That's some bullshit. No, we wasn't. I hate when niggas just be pulling up saying anything now. Like, we just supposed to buy what y'all selling. No. I ain't start. Mike, this is what I'm saying. When did If You Know, You Know start trending on social media, before or after the Pusha T record?
I feel like it became a hashtag after Pusha T. I'm sure
has
people
it not
said
remained
it in
a hashtag
pockets.
Since then, as we approach 4 years later?
I think people still say it. Maybe not as much as, they once did.
I literally just saw it on Instagram the other day.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. From a major publication website with millions of followers that in the hip-hop news media. Yeah. So, I don't know what the fuck these people in the chat are talking about. We got the wrong people in the chat today.
Centuria TV.
It's the playoffs. It's time to sub y'all out and shorten up the bench. We're only running with a 6 or 7 man rotation. All you 8th, 9th, and 10th motherfuckers have to go. You have to go.
Nah, this is the playoff team right here. We got a lot of people in here today. Centuria TV with the super chat says, Big Sean was salty about the Control response and was dissing on a song called No More Interview. I need to go back and listen to No More Interview. Y'all keep saying this, but was he responding to the fact that Kendrick called him out on his own song, or was he dissing Kendrick? You know what I'm saying? Like, because to keep it real, man, that was kind of out of line to go out there on that man's song and call him out on his own record. That's on some what people perceive that LL Cool J Cannabis thing to do. So is he supposed to not say anything? You know what I'm saying?
Cut that nigga out. He could have just cut him out and inserted somebody else.
That would have been a problem too, right? Andre Shashir with the super chat says, "What's up, fellas? Mike, I heard that Jarvis trying to get at you yesterday for saying that Ye saved Jay's career. I got to get him back. LOL. Elaborate. Why? I'm curious." Listen, Jarvis probably taking my words out of context, but if he wants to take
in here too.
If he wants to take it there, The proof is in the pudding. There's a lawsuit out there that Kanye had that said he revitalized Jay-Z's career. Look at the blueprint. Who created the blueprint? Who created the foundation for the blueprint, right? Kanye West. He did. It's just the truth.
I just envisioned in my mind like you and Jarv arguing about Jay-Z and Kanye, and it made my head hurt a little bit.
And so, all right, so you start there. Cool. That carved a whole new path for the rock sound, right? Jay kept going in that path, utilized Kanye with the Blueprint 2, what he did the first single, Me and My Girlfriend, whatever. And then boom, the Black Album happens, right?
Yo, Jay said, come outside, Mike.
No, I want to explain all of this, right? So, Black Album. Jay did that on his own, retired. But Encore is on there. And we do have Lucifer on there. We do have the DVD where we seen the, I gotta get my soul right. That's
Mike, before you go any further, I don't like that you started out this conversation by bringing up the lawsuit, not some rap shit.
I just wanted to.
I'm just gonna tell you, like you started off with the lawsuit, not with
I just wanted to bring up that it's documented that Kanye West has said this himself, and this ain't just Mike talking, right?
No, I mean it's like Jarvis in the chat right now. Jarvis in the chat right now, flexing on you a little bit. I want you to win this debate, so I need you to leave the lawsuits out of.
So the Black Album happens. Great album. Great way to go out. But here's where the trouble starts. Because it's 03. Now you got to come back in the game. Can we say Kingdom Come kind of was not it, right?
No, that ain't no good.
Kanye's not involved in that, really.
Jay wasn't involved with it either. That was the problem.
Oh, and then you get American Gangster. Love that album. Puff, Chauncey, and LV did their thing. Kanye is out of the picture on that, but really didn't have a lot of hit records on there. Even though Kanye's voice is on the hit record on there, the Rock Boys, We in the House, right? So, Blueprint 3 time. Kanye's name's all over this one. Jay has hits again. You get DOA. Kanye's all over that, even though that's produced by No ID. You could even tell with the Kid Cudi collaborations and all of that. Run This Town. Hit record. Does Kanye have the best verse on Run This Town? What say you guys? I don't know. I think he has the most memorable verse on there. But that happened.
He did dust Jay on that record. He did.
That happened.
He did dust Jay on that record. I am going to give you that. Jay got dusted on that record.
And if you look at the back of the Blueprint 3, who's the executive producer of that? Kanye. And if Jay at that time,
one more G-string and up top, 2 bee stings and I'm bee sting.
And we got to keep it real. At that time, if Jay is giving you executive producer credit, nigga, you did this whole damn album. Jay ain't got to give nobody producer credit in 2009. Executive producer credit, that is. I mean, you know what I mean? If Kanye's name is right next to his on executive producer credit, I would have to think that he's half of the direction of that, if not more, right? And even look at the album cover. This was the first album cover that Jay did where he didn't have his face on the cover and it was a bunch of records. It was on some artsy shit. That's Jay, right? I mean, can we be real here?
Yeah, he probably chose the cover art.
And then what happens after that? Oh, Watch the Throne. Definitely.
See, okay, so first of all...
definitely need a yay for that.
Okay, so here's what I'm saying. Watch the Throne ain't like that. Right?
But
that don't mean nothing for Kanye or for Jay.
But no.
Everybody need to come to the terms. And
at the end of the day, though, Coop, Jay's known for his bangers and his hit records.
Daytona better than Watch the Throne.
That shit got Otis on it. That shit got Niggas in Paris on it. Like this is Jay true to form. Like you gotta admit, as much as I love American Gangster, it ain't no Otis or Niggas in Paris is on there. And this is what Jay's known for, the bangers.
It is a better album, though.
It is a better album, but I'm just saying, Ye is able to give him what he's true to form on in that era, right? And then when you go to Holy Grail, no Ye, no hits.
Let me submit this to you, though, Mike. Well, those records that you're saying that Ye did, those albums that had more hits,
Well, they have more hits than Volume 1 and Reasonable Doubt, and that'll make that shit better. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying it makes it better, but what I'm saying is...
Like, Jay's a great album maker, so it's he doesn't necessarily need hits.
Is he a great album maker in the 2000s, though? That's what I'm saying. Like, in the 2000s and beyond, he's more so known for...
You mean after 2010?
Well, yeah, let's just talk about Retired and Coming Back. Is he a great album maker?
After the Black Album? No, he hasn't been a great album maker since the Black Album. That was his last truly masterful piece of work. American Gangster's close. Blueprint 3 is solid. Watch the Throne is overrated. 444.
But again, let's look at it like this too. Like I said,
I want to put a 9mm to 444's head and just like end it all. It's not good. I'm so tired of y'all saying it.
When you have No Ye, you have Holy Grail, and you have 444. Now, I don't want to just put this to Jay. I don't want to put this to Jay, right? Like, let's look at Common. Ye's involved. You got B. You got Finding Forever. Ye is gone. You got Universal Mind Control. Let's just keep it a buck here. And shit, we'll go to Pusha T. Ye's involved. Daytona. Ye is halfway involved. You got It's Almost Dry. Like, it's what it is, man. Like, the dude is something different. And this doesn't just apply to Jay, but he's helped Jay the most. Can we say that? I mean, that's just numerically proven. He's done more tracks with him than anybody else.
Oh, you're talking about by the numbers.
Yeah.
Sheer volume too.
Did a whole album with him. Like, so for me saying that's not disrespectful to anybody, he just got the best help. I mean, he got the most help from the best helper in the game. Correct?
I mean, these things are factual. Yes.
I want to hear what Jarv has to say. I'm sure we need to have a whole segment. We bring him on for that.
I believe Jarv's been in the chat clowning.
I'm sure he has. Esquire with the super.
He said Jarv said Monday at 4:24. That's the 24th. He would like you to come outside, Mike, onto the Rap Round Table.
Where we gonna meet at 444, 444? Is it gonna be 4 o'clock? 4 minutes.
It's so hilarious.
Esquire with the now let's do it. Esquire with the super chat says the quality is there, but the degree of difficulty is minimal on Daytona. A 7-song project produced by Ye with few hooks, refreshing but not classic. I can deal with that critique, but again, it just seems like let's play this game, Esquire. You don't think that it's difficult to make a complete album with 7 songs, though? Because we just talked about how dope do we think that Currency and Jermaine's album is, but it's 7 songs, and it's really tough to make a full rounded project. I think they did that.
How many songs are on Paid in Full that Rakim's rapping on?
It's like 7, I think. But again, when you got those fillings, those fill-in tracks, I mean, it makes it feel like
it's there are plenty of like 8-9 song albums that we call classic,
right?
And so it's like a 7-piece can't. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, because I grew
up on Purple Rain and Thriller, Mike. Them albums ain't long.
No, they're not. I mean, all right, let's look at
In and Out.
You got I Ain't No Joke. You got My Melody.
I Know You Got Soul.
Paid in Full. Eric B is President.
Move the Crowd.
Is that it? No. No, Rhyme Goes On. That's
the Rhyme Goes On.
Yeah. Are those the only songs on there? Are we missing something?
That's Chinese Arithmetic and the other.
We're talking about that he's rapping on.
Right, same thing with Follow the Leader.
What
nigga not rapping like that on Follow the Leader. People who understand that, right? Nigga not rapping that much on Follow the Leader. It's not.
Because what Kanye could have done, he could have just filled in this album with 2 instrumentals, and we would have 9 tracks. Would we be good then?
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Follow the Leader has Follow the Leader.
Mm-hmm.
Microphone Fiend, Lyrics of Fury, best rap album start ever. Right. Best start to a rap album ever. Follow the Leader, Microphone Fiend, and Lyrics of Fury, best start to a rap album ever. Doing it with the R.
Yep.
What else?
Doing it with the R. Hold on, I don't want to miss anything on this.
Ain't a lot.
pull up Criminal Minded.
Right.
It's like 8 records.
Yeah, you got Follow the Leader, Microphone Fiend, Lyrics of Fury, Eric B. Never Scared, that's a scratch, whatever. Just the Beat, boom. Put Your Hands Together, To the Listeners, No Competition, The R. Musical Massacre, Beats for the Listeners. Yeah.
He's only rapping on like 6 songs, right?
Yeah.
He's only rapping on 7 on the first one.
Yeah.
We call him the greatest MC of all time when he did that.
And one of the greatest albums ever. And I'll stand on that. Like, Paid in Full is one of the greatest rap albums ever made.
Well, still a top 10 rap album, maybe top 5.
Yeah, straight up. Our Legacy.
7 Rakim songs on there.
Yeah.
Say less, do more, people.
Our Legacy with the super chat says, who has more songs with replay value, Cam or Push? It's a good question.
Ain't nobody playing Old Boy outside of New York, fam. Hate to be the one to
I
break it
don't
to you
know,
niggas.
man. I don't know about that one, Our Legacy. I got to think about
I'm
that.
going to be honest with you. Cam's most timeless record to me is What Means the World to You. The rest of it has timepieces on it.
I listen to Cam all the time. Like, I was listening to Bigger Picture.
Listen to Cam all the time?
I do, man. Cam's fire, man. I was listening to I Really Mean It, Bigger Picture.
I like Cam. I don't listen to Cam all the time, though. I fuck with Cam.
I fuck with Cam. Leroy Green with the super chat.
I like old Cam more too, Mike. That does have something to do with like
I like new Cam.
Level.
I like new Cam more. And
when
I say new Cam,
Come Home What Means the World to You, Horse and Carriage, Pull It, that guy, Fantastic Four. No, I like that guy.
I got you. I actually like Come Home With Me on Cam.
I like that Cam. I like that Cam. I fuck with Cam.
Leroy Green with the super chat says, what makes Daytona a classic is consumer.
Cam better than Fab to you, ain't he?
Yeah. And Push is better than Fab too. And I don't know if y'all disagree with that, but
oh Lord, don't. Don't talk about no New York rappers in here, Mike. You know you're not allowed to do that.
Is that what it is? Push was for Virginia, and
why do you think they're giving us all this flex? Mike, where outside of New York do people think that Cam and Fab are better than Push? Really, in 2023, all honesty. Like, where outside of New York do people really believe that?
Leroy Green with the super chat says, what makes Daytona a classic is consumer minimalism in the age of rap saturation. If Daytona is a classic, then Tana Talks 3 must be the Mona Lisa.
First of all, Tana Talk 3 is solid. It's definitely not Daytona, but it is a great, brilliant piece of work. Little 97 Hove, some rubber bands and weights, a personal Mike D favorite. My personal favorite is Rick.
Rubber Bands and Weight is still my favorite Benny the Butcher song.
Rick is still my favorite Benny song.
Yeah, Tana Talk 3 is fine. Our Legacy with the super chat says, are there any other classic albums with 7 songs? Yeah, I think we mentioned those. But yeah.
Want me to keep going?
Criminal Minded.
Like, didn't we just...
Criminal Minded, pull them up. You know what I mean? Like, even with... How many songs did The Great Adventures of Slick Rick have on it?
I think that's 11. No, 12. 11 or 12.
Okay.
Like, yeah. Because Hey Young World is track 10, and it's got Lick the Balls and Kid What's the Scoop after it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Leroy Green with the super chat says, Mike, Jay sold out every arena before Ye. Stop. Huh? Because he came before him?
No, I thought the first time he sold out the Garden was around the Black Album, so that wouldn't be accurate. That's actually totally false.
I mean, listen. All right. Okay, if you want to go that route, Leroy.
Let's not.
If you want to go that route, can you honestly say that as a solo artist, Jay could outsell an arena quicker than Kanye could?
Don't do that.
Now? That hadn't even been proven.
Leroy.
Where's the Yeezus tour from Jay? Because at the end of the day, I love Jay. And I don't want to sound like I'm coming from somewhere else. But when Jay does a tour, it's either with Beyonce, it's either with Ye, it's either with Justin Timberlake. He got to team up. Kanye doesn't really have to do that. He'll just go out there with a mask, one set, and sell that bitch out. It's what it is. Yeah, he did it before him because he came fucking 6 years, probably 10 years before him. Like, it is what it is. I'm sorry.
Right. So Criminal Minded is 10 records, but I think if I'm not mistaken, one of them is just a beat, so it's 9 songs.
Yeah.
Right. Don't get it twisted, though. I mean, and I'm not saying, now listen to what I'm saying. I think Daytona is a classic. Do I think Daytona is Criminal Minded?
No. Because
No.
classics have levels. Criminal Minded up here, Daytona somewhere in the middle.
You're just saying that the argument that an album with 7 songs can't be a classic is just invalid.
Right. It's like, no, like a lot of our early classics are only 7, 8, 9, 10 records.
Yeah.
We just went through Rakim's 2 seminal albums. The nigga didn't give us an extended play to the 3rd album.
And that's fine. Make the
cool
best
with
album.
He,
like, if you got 12 tracks and 4 of them can be cut them.
Like, here's what I'm saying. We didn't need to hear any more records to know how great Rakim was. You don't need to hear more of Daytona to realize how great he is. And if you do, you weren't listening, which is why me and Mike just started spitting bars for damn near every song off the album, off the drop of a dime.
Listen, when I listen to Paid in Full, I don't be like, man, I wish he had 3 more tracks on it. When I listen to Illmatic, I don't be like, yo, man, he needed to put a couple more tracks on here.
I be skipping around Illmatic.
Because let's keep it real, though, guys. I mean, if we talk about, 9 songs?
9.
Yeah. Just like Thriller, just like Purple Rain.
Look, if you take the 2-minute intro off, the damn album is only like 36 minutes.
Yeah, it is.
The song's only like 36 minutes worth of material, Mike. It's a car. Like, it take me longer to get to the Braves game in traffic, damn it. Like, I can't even listen to Illmatic.
And that's what I liked about Daytona, too. It's like, and that was the wizardry behind it. And I think from a production standpoint, you end up listening to that album 2 times over before you even know it. And that's the same thing with Illmatic.
Yeah, especially if you're riding on 285, Mike.
Yeah, like if that album starts over, you don't care. You're like, oh yeah, run it back. Anime Bros podcast with the super chat says it is hard to make hits when you're not on Spotify. Jay on Spotify, he should be now unless he took his catalog off again.
Speaking of which,
Anime Bros with the super chat says, Ye did Nasir and it was utter trash. It's true. I don't think it's utter trash, but he did.
Dilla did Electric Circus. So what?
I like Electric Circus too, but people don't like it.
Public, Mike.
But no, I'm gonna keep it real. I like it, but people don't like it, so it is what it is. You know what I mean? I don't think
Dr. Dre did Aftermath Presents.
He did. People try to act like now that one doesn't exist. It does exist. It's fine. And I don't think Nasir is as bad as people make it seem. Like, what's wrong with Nasir to you guys? Is it the fact that it's just not a classic? I don't know. Esquire with the super chat says
hey,
those
Mike, you know who did the beats on that Tikal album that everybody criticized? That was RZA. Right. You know, RZA produced that Tikal album that everybody said wasn't that good.
Yeah, he did do that.
You feel what I'm saying? I just named Dilla, RZA, and Dre.
Yeah.
So what?
It happens. Esquire with the super chat. And you know what? He did this in a time period where the nigga was making 4 albums in a month and a half. But whatever.
It was the first shot, and that's why I think it was the best shot.
Yeah. I think it was the one that inspired all the other things. Clearly, if everybody can remember correctly, it was all kind of unorganized, writing on the chalkboard and all that stuff. So it was like, you know, things could have been rushed.
And no just so we're clear, even though Pusha T is your artist, you go Pusha T, who's your artist, and then you go Nas. You don't do Kid C Ghost and Ye.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to, no disrespect to
you can tell, though, that there was some delays with the Nas thing. Like, I think they were trying
the beats on Kid C Ghost are better than the beats. Like, he used most of his good beats on the first 2 joints, because Kid C Ghost and Daytona got the best beats.
Kid C Ghost is fire.
Shit got some killer beats on it.
Yeah, it does.
The Kid C Ghost record, Kid C Ghost, that beat, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Shit.
That's why the super chat says, those are LPs from the vinyl era. Raise the bar. And that's fair. I mean, but at the same time, he's saying that the stuff that we're talking about is from the vinyl era where, you know, vinyl couldn't fit but, you know, a certain amount of minutes. And that's fair, but does that mean that people in this era can't go back and make vinyl era type of length? Because one could argue that in this playlist streaming environment, you may need to go back to minimizing the number of records you put on an album. You know what I mean? Because people's attention span's clearly shorter, And people have the ability to just scan around. It's not like the CD days when you put a CD in, it's an effort to take one out, put a whole nother one in. Somebody could just click and go to a whole nother artist, a whole nother genre. So you might want to make shorter albums.
Mike, what was Motown's theory and theme for making records?
Get in, get out. Hit them very quickly in the first 5 seconds. And nothing longer than 3 minutes.
What did it say on the building at the top? What did it say? Don't it say what?
Oh, Hitsville.
What?
Yeah.
It'd be short and sweet with Motown, though, don't it? What's it called? It called Hitsville, and it'd be in and out, don't it?
Yeah.
Baby Love by the Supremes is like 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
I remember there was an old school station here in Atlanta when I was growing up. My dad used to play. They would play stuff from like the 50s, 60s. And I used to ask my dad, like, why are these songs so short?
Trying to get the
That's
job
how
done,
it was,
son.
man.
They're trying to get the job done, son.
Mm-hmm.
And you singing every last one of them tunes. You want to know why? Because it's infectious.
Yep.
And Barry's whole process and whole thought, I want to leave them wanting more.
Exactly. You make them want to hear it again. Like, oh, that song was only 2 minutes and 55 seconds?
Right.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to leave people with the thought. It's like, oh, man, that's too long. I should have edited that. I should cut.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We got spoiled with people making long-ass songs. You know what I mean?
Our biggest, I don't think people notice this. The thing that I probably critique the most album-wise since I've been doing this podcast with you is the editing process.
Yeah.
Short and quick has always worked in the music business.
Yep.
Hitsville, USA. It's literally the blueprint.
Yeah. The only
Motown.
time that... And
Stevie,
you gotta,
Marvin Gaye, Temptations, Four Tops, Supremes, hello.
Yeah. And the only time, honestly, that you want to listen to a long, long album is if you're on a road trip. And people got to understand, before CDs came around and people just had tape decks for the most part, I mean, people weren't really listening to albums on their road trip during the vinyl eras.
Like, think about this. Prince made a double album in 1987 that wasn't even 20 songs.
Yeah.
Short. What? The first side is 9 songs, second side 7 songs, it's 16 songs.
Yep.
And it's considered to be a double disc.
Mm-hmm.
In 87.
That was way more music than people were normally putting out.
Mike, not to be funny, Cameron's Purple Haze got like 23 tracks on it.
Yeah, see, that's too much. I never liked that era. Where, I think this was mostly the late 90s, early 2000s. I think Master P kind of ushered this in because he wanted to give people more bang for their buck. But a lot of those No Limit albums had like 20-something songs on it. It was like, that was too much for me, even back then. But I think the mentality was, you're going to find something you like on here. You got 20-something songs. And people were like, well, shit, I'm going to buy an album for $12.99 that got 20 songs on it over an album for $12.99 that got 11 songs on it.
Man, see, but it's about quality.
Yeah.
What Jay say? Your single was 99 cents. Mine was $4.
What a
Quality.
great record.
Hold on.
Niggas thought it was all luck.
Who has a rap artist that's taking the game like Jay? Nobody ever. It's what he's most lauded for, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Listen to his mentality. Your single's 99 cents. Mine was $4. He's telling you, no. I'm winning because I'm charging a higher price because the quality's better over here.
I could charge $4.
I can charge $4 for the single because the songs like that. Hello.
Yeah. Anime Bros podcast with the super chat says Yeezus tour did 31 million. 444 did 50. Holy Grail tour did 56 million. Where the fuck are the facts, Mike? You're a hater. Nothing more without Beyonce. Okay. The Holy Grail tour, that wasn't the one with Justin? Or am I thinking about something else? I don't even remember the 444 tour like that. I don't know. Did the Yeezus tour really do 31 million? That's the one that Kendrick was opening for, man. I don't know. I'm gonna have to do my research on that one. I'm gonna get back to you on that one, Anime Bros podcast. I'll get back to you with that one. Our Legacy with the super chat says, Pusha is better than Fab, and many New York rappers and rappers in general. No New York bias over here. He's the proof. I like Pusha more than Kiss. Here's the proof. I like Pusha more than Kiss. I think Pusha and Kiss is really the conversation. I got
That's
Kiss
what I'm
still.
saying. Like this whole Cam in Fab shit, it's like, no, like Pusha kind of like let past that with Daytona. He's in more of a Kiss 50 Raekwon type of territory, as in like damn near at the top, but not quite at the top. Like not quite in terms of New York shit like Ghost, Nas, J Big, but like Ray, Kiss, Pusha on that level.
Well, you know what's interesting though, and I just thought about this while you were talking. Jim Jones also said that Drake is the greatest rapper ever. So maybe that has something to do with him saying that.
Well, Mike, you probably should have started off with that.
I forgot all about
understanding.
I forgot all about that. So
it's the most important part.
In Jim Jones' mindset, Drake is the greatest rapper ever, and Pusha's not top 50. And Pusha only talks about selling drugs. So that, I guess that's the end of that puzzle right there.
Say less. Let's do some quick ratings before we get out of here.
Yeah, let's do some quick ratings before we get out of here. Oh, yeah, also, I mean, we can talk about the event on the way out, too, but Coop and I just did an incredible interview with Rap Snacks CEO, man. We're going to air that tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, man? That was a lot of game. James was giving a lot of game.
No. I just want to say that Mr. James Lindsay is a man of vision and of power and influence. And I encourage every young black entrepreneur, not even young black entrepreneur, I encourage every young entrepreneur to pull up and listen to this interview and listen to the words that are coming out of this man's mouth and really pay attention to the things that he was saying to me and Mike D earlier. Seriously. It was a super important conversation. It was eye-opening. He's an amazing, Mike, as a man that's in his 40s, and you probably feel this way too, you don't run into too many people at our age that you would say, it's like, no, I'd let that brother mentor me still.
Oh, definitely. No.
Right.
For sure.
That's how I felt about that. It's like, no. If that brother wanted to mentor me still, even at the age of 41, I would, where do you need me to be, Mr. Lindsay?
Yeah, he's all about giving game. He like you said, he practices what he preaches. And yeah, he has a lot of knowledge to give, and he's not afraid to give it. And he wanted to continue to give it. So I would definitely encourage anyone to tune in tomorrow on this channel at 5 o'clock. We're going to run it live or whatnot, so you can check it out and chime in. You know what I'm saying? We'll probably end up chiming in as well. But yeah, hit that subscribe, like button, icon, so you can know when we are live, because sometimes YouTube be playing games and don't notify people right.
I realized something too, and I kind of want to share this, and then we can get to our ratings right quick and get out of here. Get a couple of MCs knocked out. And Mr. Lindsay said it himself. Closed mouths don't get fed. You know, I was talking to Clarissa, the PR person, just after we had got done with the Pinky Cole Jet reveal party that we were at. Shout out to Pinky Cole and Slutty Vegan and Jet and Clarissa from Synergy for inviting us and including us in this festivities. That's who invited us to the Rap Snacks too. But it was one of those things, Mike, and listen to what I'm saying, closed mouths don't get fed. I got this interview just because I asked her the next day. I was literally just like, hey, I'm trying to finish up part 3. I was like, but I would love the opportunity to talk to Mr. Lindsay whenever he has some time. And she was like, give me a minute. Let me get right back to you. I was like, oh, shit. Boom. It was just like, listen to what I'm saying. And shout out to Hit again. It was just like when I pulled up on Hit Boy on Twitter. It's like, hey, I would love, he was like, let's do it. I was like, oh, you got to ask. Like, Jackie Corleone that pulled up on me. He pulled up in my DMs. He's like, yo, Coops. He's like, so I was thinking we could have a little conversation. Thinking like, damn, little motherfucker just kind of pulled up on me. But it's like, it's kind of how I've been pulling up. Closed mouths don't get fed. Go ask for the things that you want out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, worst they can do is tell you no, you still got to keep going.
Yep. Yeah. Like you said, we're going to keep going.
We taking Kanye back through the ringer first. So where are we sliding Kanye back
through the ringer, especially after all the ish talking that's been going on Kanye's name. We're going to have to put some respect on Mr. West's name.
Okay, so I'll tell you, Kendrick's at 27. Do you want to start Kanye right there? Because we have Kanye at 11.
Let's start Kanye at 10.
We have Kendrick at 27. So is that a fair place to start?
Yeah, we're probably going to have to end up running Kendrick back through. But yeah, let's start there.
That's cool. I don't know why. See, this is what I'm saying. I think Kendrick is going to end up rising up some more spots because some of the people in front of him are probably going to slide down some. Like Biggie slid a few spots, but some people are going to fall further than him.
Mm-hmm.
So, impact.
Kanye.
Live performance.
Kanye.
Lyrics.
Kendrick.
Storytelling.
Huh. That's Kendrick, but that's not a given, honestly.
It's not. Kanye's the more entertaining storyteller.
Kanye's a great storyteller. I thought Roses off the top of my head. I thought Still Dreaming. I thought
Roses, Mike. You know, that's my favorite Ye record. I went to Roses.
Yeah. I give Kendrick that. Not by a lot though.
It's not
as entertaining.
How about this? It's way closer than people realize.
It really is.
Ooh. Classic albums.
That's Kanye.
And that's my thing with Kendrick and how he gets lauded so much. It's like, well, you're not even at Ye level on the album making.
Because you know what, man? I'm sorry, man. Like, in my mind, and this might be unfair, I throw B and shit like that in there because you can hear Kanye's cadences all the way through B. You know what I'm saying?
We can keep it solo album material. He's still got them. If you start throwing B and Daytona and the Blueprint in, can you say Wash?
I say B specifically because Daytona to me, it's a totally produced Kanye effort, but I don't really hear Kanye's influence lyrically, right? And I can say the same thing for the Blueprint, even though he did a couple of hooks and stuff on there. But B, even Common's delivery, like Black Church Services, Burgers, Black Church Services, Murderers, Arab serving burgers, his caps with gold permanent. He never was rhyming like that. The delivery and the way he was approaching these records, even Go, she was up bad, huh? The type like that's Kanye. I'm sorry, the food. That's I walked in the crib.
Classic songs.
That's Kanye. Come on.
That's Kanye. Longevity of albums.
It's Kanye West.
Longevity of songs.
Kanye West.
Let's just go ahead and end that.
Okay.
Because the next one's classic collaborations, and we know.
Oh, that's Kanye West. Yeah.
Right. So that's over. You see how quick that happened? That's why it's like, no, this Kendrick shit that y'all be.
But that's Kanye.
Very problematic, Mike. Very problematic. I told you, Mike, that a lot of his legacy was going to be determined how his last album sound. This is what I was talking about. Because if you really pair him up against the Titans, he always falls short against the Titans. Sure. Always. Not some of the time, Mike. All the time.
It's not really even competitive, to be honest. And I say that respectfully.
Think about this. He would lose to Kanye on voice, too.
Mm-hmm. He would. Leroy Green says, Mike, how much is that Rockefeller chain help Kanye?
Leroy, let it go.
It helped him.
With you, Mike.
You know what? Never mind. I ain't gonna say that.
The way that he just watched Kendrick, Mike, because I want you to understand, Kendrick only won 2 of those. I think we need to jump up to DMX or Drake at 22-21.
Let's do Drake.
The petty level's high. Impact.
That's Kanye. He influenced Drake.
He influenced Kendrick. What are you talking about? Live performance.
That's Kanye.
Lyrics.
I think that's Kanye.
It is. Storytelling.
That's Kanye.
Let's not go to classic albums and songs. That's how great Kanye is. So we just go. He just watched Drake. That's what I'm saying.
This dude
so Drake's at 22. You want to go to Slick Rick at 18, maybe?
Sure. I mean, Slick Rick is giving everybody a run.
Slick Rick is a problem out here in these streets, Mike.
He is.
I'm trying to tell you, Slick Rick the ruler, Mike. Impact. Gonna go Slick Rick. But if you want to go tie, we can.
I think that's more of a tie, man. The influence and the impact. You said it yourself, like Jay Skis, his story. People you wouldn't even connect with Kanye. Like,
no. Matter of fact,
even rappers
can't do it with
even rappers carrying on their first name and last name, whether their first name and last name is made up or whatever, and not having to be, make up a rap name. I didn't want to just say a random
Sounds
rap
like
name.
You want to give
that comes
Kanye,
from Kanye West. And I know people want to say Tupac, but even Tupac had to phonetically spell his original name like a rap name with the 2. You know what I mean? Like, Kanye has made it cool for you to go out there and be first name, last.
You don't have to, Mike. We're giving Kanye impact. Just let it go. Live performance, Slick Rick.
Shit. I mean, does he have a Yeezus tour? I mean,
we can go Kanye
yeah.
lyrics.
You seen Kanye at the Chappelle block party when he came out there with the
That's
marching
cool. We can go
band?
live performance Kanye lyrics. Slick.
Yeah. Because of the
Ain't
Ghost
no
Riding
MC
stuff.
worth their weight around here thinking that Kanye's a better MC than
Yeah.
Slick Rick.
You know, no.
Storytelling, we're just not going to have that
Slick
conversation. Classic albums is Kanye. Classic song is still Slick Rick.
You think so? Even after all of the...
Because here's what I'm saying. Kanye's made a whole lot of big records, Mike, but he doesn't have like a ton of classic songs. He's a consistently good to great song maker. But here's what I'm saying. What does he have that's even on par with Children's Story? Hey Young World, Mona Lisa. He doesn't have anything on that level. Like not one. Listen to what I'm saying. He got a lot of great shit, a lot of class shit, but he don't have not the top, Mike. Slick Rick hits are at.
So you don't think
that shit is at the top, Mike? Through the Wire. That ain't no fucking Children's Story.
Slow Jams.
Jesus Walks is the only one, Mike.
Jesus Walks, I would put up with Children's Story. I still got Children's Story ahead of that.
Jesus Walks is the only one, though. But Slick Rick got Mona Lisa, Hey Young World, The Show, Lottie Dottie. No, Kanye don't have that. No, we don't.
All right, so I would say, and this is just for argument's sake, Slow Jams. You got Through the Wire. You got Gold Digger. You got
that is not enough, Mike.
Can't tell me nothing.
I said Lottie Dottie and Mona Lisa, and you gave me Slow Jams.
Okay.
Next, Mike,
Slow Jams is a great record.
Longevity of albums. I'm not even going to entertain that, Mike. Longevity of albums.
That's Kanye.
That's Kanye. Yeah. Longevity of songs. That's Slick.
Huh. Okay, I'm okay with that.
What song from The College Dropout is still getting played regularly, Mike?
Jesus Walks.
Right.
Now, Slick Rick
has records that precede his debut album that are still getting played. Like 80 records that were made in 1985. Like,
he's a special artist, period.
It's different. Classic collaborations, well, that would be Kanye.
That's Kanye.
Career longevity quality, that would be Kanye.
Yeah.
That's where he wins. So it took him almost to the end to beat Slick Rick because he's going to lose that voice thing.
Yeah, Slick Rick is, he battles anybody, man.
Rick is a problem. So that's at 18. Now, I think we might have had him right. You want to do, so right after, then we have Black Thought, Method Man, Chuck D, and Common.
He beats all of them.
He beats Common too?
Let's go with Common.
No, he's going to beat Common. I just thought about that.
Let's go with Common.
Think about the problem that Slick just was. Common might end up sliding. Slick might end up getting back up too. We're going to have to do Ray and Ghost?
Sure.
No, I mean, do you think? Because we have him right ahead of Ray and Ghost. Ray is 13, Ghost is 12, Ye is 11.
You want to try Ghost?
Let's try Ghost, just out of curiosity. Impact is Kanye, and so is live performance.
Yep.
Lyrics and storytelling are Ghost.
Yep.
Classic albums is actually Kanye, Mike.
Yep.
Classic songs is Kanye, too.
Yep.
Longevity of albums, that might be Ghost. But Kanye's already got 4. Longevity of songs is Kanye because that's classic collaborations is.
That's Kanye.
Ghost is part of Wu-Tang Clan, so it's not fair. So he just beat Ghost, so we got him at 11, Mike. So we might have him accurate. Do you want to see if he goes up further? Like you want to put him up against Scarface, LL, and Big? Which one?
Yeah.
So let's see if he jumps Scarface because Scarface is at 10 ahead of him.
Okay.
Impact is Kanye. Live performance is Kanye.
Yep.
Lyrics and storytelling are Scarface.
Yep.
Classic albums, Mike. I'll tell you, Scarface is one of the few guys that can actually say, no, young man, you do not have a better catalog than me.
I can see that album for album.
Album for album, he has a better catalog because not too many people have made 8 or 9 or 10 great albums.
Yeah, no, that's real.
Kanye's not one of those people. Classic songs is Kanye, though.
Yep.
Longevity of albums?
That's Kanye.
We Can't Be Stopped by Ghetto Boys has Mind Playing Tricks on Me, Mike, so I don't know if you can say that.
Yeah, we do got Ghetto Boys stuff on there, okay.
And we got Never Seen a Man Die, which is 94.
Yeah, okay. Nah, we got Scarface.
Let's face. Classic songs is Kanye. Collaborations, Kanye.
Yep.
Career longevity quality. That's Face, Mike.
That's Face.
Been doing this since you and I were in grade school. He's been a top tier MC.
Yep.
And this is why we had Kanye ranked properly, because he's not beating Face, so we do have him proper at 11.
Okay, so Face got the voice too.
Yeah, you stop that.
Jay Short with the super chat says, "I'm a week late, but can you do Biggie versus Cube?"
No. No, we can't. And so I'll tell you what, because
Esquire with the super chat says, "No category for flow, versatility, and overall catalog."
The longevity of the albums is the overall catalog. It's literally the same thing, fam. What do you think it means to have longevity of albums? That's your catalog. Lyrics and storytelling encompass everything about your writing style, song making, and ability. Lyrics, storytelling. That's your content right there.
So where were we going to start Jay at?
I mean, based on what Kanye just went through, Mike, I think it... you want to do it? All jokes aside, we got Jay at 2, and we took Kanye down to 27, so I think an appropriate way would probably be to start at Slick Rick again with Jay.
Okay. Did we do that last week? Did he just edge out Slick? No? Okay.
I don't feel like he did. Did he?
I think actually,
you know what, Mike, he did, and that's why we was like, we're going to have to slide up the Ye. Because he's going to beat Meth, Chuck, Common, Ray, Ghost.
Yeah.
And Kanye is the first one that we need to put Jay up against. We just need to run Kanye through first.
Yeah.
So Impact, Mike.
I'm sorry, Impact?
Impact. It's Jay.
That's Jay, because Jay's impact created the vessel for Kanye to walk through.
Kanye exists because Jay did open the door, even though it was reluctantly. Live performance is Kanye. Lyrics is Jay.
Yep.
What I would tell you, Mike, storytelling might be Kanye. What say you?
I think so.
He's not a storyteller.
Not really.
Classic albums, Mike. Ooh.
It's Kanye.
How?
Yeah, I said it.
No, name the album.
Yeah, I said it. I got the late registration, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, Graduation, The College Dropout. And honestly, I'm not a big fan of the album, but 808s and Heartbreaks is a classic.
I don't know, Mike. Reasonable Doubt in the Black Album.
Yep. Blueprint.
Those are the easy
And I'd
3.
say Volume 2. Even though I'm not a big fan of that album, it's classic.
I think that's more of a tie, Mike.
I think in a tiebreaker situation, would you say My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy had more impact in this era than Reasonable Doubt did?
No, because Reasonable Doubt is the reason that all these dudes fucking talk the way that they do now.
I could see that, but even with the way
these niggas
shit
wasn't even
sounds,
hustlers till Reasonable Doubt came out. Now everybody's a fucking dealer.
Okay, I feel that. But the way things sound from 2010 on, you hear that effect.
That's why I'm calling it a tie, because it's too hard to parse through things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? And on a side note,
Reasonable Doubt exist on the same plane for separate reasons.
On a side note, I'll say this: I think Kanye West's second best album and third best album is probably better than Jay's second and third best album.
What's his third best album name?
The Black Album. Are you talking about Kanye?
Yeah. What's Kanye's third best album?
Kanye West's third best album is Late Registration, in my opinion.
I get where you're going from. So you're saying My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy and College. No, you want to know what, Mike? That might be Ye when you say it like that. When I think about that out loud, I'll give that to Ye. Songs is Jay though.
Yeah.
Classic songs is Jay. Jay's made more classic songs than Ye.
Okay. Yeah.
Like we not walking around reciting the stuff that like Ye spit on College Dropout the way we recite Reasonable Doubt. We don't.
Yes.
Or Volume 1.
Anime Bros podcast said, "Where is Ye's The Evil?" So yeah.
Right. Longevity of albums. Jay.
Yeah.
Longevity of songs. That might be Kanye, because Kanye's songs are holding up better.
Yeah.
Classic collaborations.
Who? I don't know, bro. I think that might be Ye. Because he's done it with so many different people in so many different eras.
He did a lot. Jay laced a lot of people, Mike. That might be a tie. High remix.
He did.
Yeah. No, I'm going to give that a tie. Career longevity quality is Jay.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
I think 4. Jay got that.
Yeah, because Kanye can't win because we got a tie and Jay's already got 5. So even if Kanye were if Kanye have a better voice than Jay to you?
No, I don't think so.
Right. So then yeah, Jay got that. So we
were
right.
Because again, I love Kanye, but I don't think I could hear him do "You Don't Know."
But it came down to voice though, so it did go all the way to the end. And so with that being said, I think Jay's probably going to beat Scarface and LL. What do you say about Jay-Z and Biggie?
Sure, let's do it. I mean, I think Jay will beat Biggie, but
are you sure? Impact. Right.
I think.
Don't you?
I'm not even gonna front. I think that's Jay, man.
How so? When Jay's whole style was Big style first.
I understand that, but
everything Jay talks is Big's talk. It's just Big was a better talker at it. Jay's ascension happened when Big died. How?
See, this is the thing, though. I feel like Jay had more time to implement his impact. You know what I mean? Than Big did. Now, clearly, Big.
But much like Jay impacted Ye, Mike.
You're right. Because this is the thing. Jay. And this is the biggest thing, and I've said this on the show before, I don't want to be a hypocrite. That lane that Jay took up, Big created that lane.
Correct.
So
that's Big. Live performance is Jay.
Yeah.
Lyrics is Big. Storytelling.
Do you think so? Wait a minute.
Hold on, okay.
Lyrically? No.
Okay, so here's what I tell you. Jay has been better lyrically longer, but name the mic performance on an album that Jay has like Life After Death, because Big's got that Life After Death mic performance. Where Jay mic Life After Death like mic performance? Where that?
You don't think the Reasonable Doubt's mic performance is on par with Life After Death?
It's on par with Ready to Die. It's not on par with Life After Death.
No, I think it's better than Ready to Die lyrically.
You can even say it's better than Ready to Die, but it is not touching the mic performance on Life After Death. Let's not
talking about the overall versatility. Okay, this is where I would go if you want to talk about Life After Death mic performance.
Maybe go tie.
I would go Black Album. That's where I would go.
That's valid. Jay has the work. I'll give him the work. I always thought he was a better pure lyricist.
Yeah.
Storytelling is non-conversation.
No, that's big. Yeah.
It's gonna go.
That's big.
Classic albums.
That's Jay.
But that's just classic songs is Big though.
You're right.
Right.
Yeah,
it's not even a question about that. Even with Jay, it's like no, you're not fucking with those songs.
That's crazy, man.
That. You don't have a one more chance. You don't even have a Big Papa.
In that short period of time, for him to be able to do that,
3 years. Crazy. 3 years, Mike.
That's crazy.
3 years.
That's insane.
Longevity of albums. That's big too, because Ready to Die still sounds good. Wow. What Jay project holding up like Ready to Die and Life After Death? You don't have 2 projects holding up like those projects.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Longevity of songs. That might be Jay.
That's Jay.
Classic collaborations. That's Big. It is.
I don't know.
Because he has more classic collaborations, and he was only here for 3 years. Now, how the fuck that happened? How you end up with more classic collaborations and in a shorter time?
Well, I mean, if he did it in a shorter time, that doesn't mean that he has more. But
yes, he does.
I think.
Like, do you think The Best of Me and Fiesta are classics the way Can't You See is?
I think Jay's performance on the Best of Me remix is classic. Oh, what about Jay on Mariah Carey's Heartbreaker?
Listen to what I'm saying. See, you're talking about how Jay is performing. I'm talking about how the song turned out.
What about What We Do Is Wrong? Freeway.
Is that better than something like the What We Do thing is strong, but that's not enough for Big. Big got the R&B on lock, and he got the rap on lock. Name me Jay's 5 biggest R&B collaboration records, because Big got a record with Michael Jackson, R. Kelly, Mary J. Blige, got the Total record, the 112 record. You feel what I'm saying? He got the Junior Mafia records. He got the Shaq record, Mike.
He got the Shaq.
The
Shaq record is a shatterer, man. And then you talk about Victory and things like that.
Yeah, Mike. Yeah, it's Big.
I mean, what about the Diamonds remix?
It's not on the same level, Mike. That's what I'm saying. You're naming great songs. Like Heartbreaker, like Mike, nobody around here in our culture plays Heartbreaker. We play Can't You See, and you know that.
God
don't play no Heartbreaker. Can't You See? Come on. Give me all the chicken heads from Pasadena to Medina. Bet big, get in between you then. Peak the prognosis, doses, blends and bends like Twizzlers. Biggie fitting the hurt. What's under that skirt?
Slow down, son.
You're killing them. We all know that. Don't nobody know that J Heartbreaker verse like that. BIGGIE. AKA.
She wanna rock with Jay. Okay, go ahead.
Right. You career longevity.
She wanna pillow fight in the middle of the night. Career longevity is Jay.
Yep. But here's what I'll tell you, Mike. Guess where we're at?
We down The Voice? This just doesn't seem right.
What do you want to get? Okay, so Big has impact, storytelling. Big has impacts, storytelling, classic songs, longevity of albums, and classic collaborations. Tell me where we're wrong.
I think the collaborations could be looked at, but it looks like it's pretty much on par.
Okay, let's say that that's not Big and that that's Jay.
I want to do some more research on that, but we could keep, I mean, it is what it is. You naming the evidence, we could put it where it is, but I want to look into that category specifically. I'll say that.
How about this? Let's tie that category until we can get some more evidence. Fair?
That's fair.
Voice is Big, though. So what we have right now is them tied, literally, because they both won 5 rounds, and the classic collaborations we're stuck on. So right now, Jay and Big are sitting right next to each other.
So I want to, just out of curiosity, and because, you know, styles make fights and all that, I want to see how Jay would match up with Snoop then, if that's the, you know.
Snoop is right above Biggie. You want to do that?
Yeah,
right
I want to, I mean, just for shits and giggles, you know.
Right. I got to get out of here after this.
Okay, cool.
Impact, Snoop.
Yeah.
Live performance, Snoop.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right. Snoop's a great live performer.
He's a great performer. I've seen him live.
He's one of the best.
He is one of the best.
Yeah.
Lyrics is Jay.
Yeah.
Storytelling?
That might be Snoop, actually.
Classic albums? Jay.
Yep.
Classic songs might be Snoop.
Yeah, I think Snoop would be Jay in the verses, honestly.
Absolutely. Longevity of albums?
That's Jay.
Mike.
We got one album. You said albums. Oh, we got 2. Never mind.
Yeah. And those are 2 top 10 albums. So stop playing with me.
Yeah.
To quote Young Jeezy. Stop playing with me.
Yeah. Snoop's tough, man.
Yeah. When you make the Chronic in Doggy Style, it goes like, you know, forever, Mike. Forever. Longevity of songs.
That's Snoop Dogg, man.
Snoop is classic collaborations.
Huh. That might be Snoop, too.
Mm-hmm. Career longevity quality, Mike.
That's Jay.
Voice. That's Snoop.
Yeah. Interesting.
No, Snoop beat Jay.
Yeah,
so Jay is actually...
Interesting.
We might need to move Snoop up and see how high Snoop is up, because Snoop is at 6 right now, but Snoop might be too low.
That's crazy.
Here's what I'm tentatively...
It's funny how these criteria work.
Mike, until you can provide me with more evidence, I am tentatively going to put Jay-Z at 7 ahead of Big about the longevity and the whole body and encompassing of work.
Yeah.
Because if it's tied, tie should go to the runner that played the longest.
Yeah. Okay.
But that puts... So right now, the way it looks, though, is that Nas is at 1, Rakim is at 2, Tupac 3, KRS 4, Cube 5, Snoop 6, J 7, Big 8.
I think Snoop's going to move up. I think Tupac's going to move up. I think Tupac might end up at 1 based on this criteria.
I can totally see that.
Yeah.
He's Tupac.
He's got it all.
He's got it all.
All right, let me get this last super chat. We can get up out of here. CJ Kidd with the super chat says, do Nas or Pac next? I guess
we can. We see. We said we were going to start pulling from the top to filter through, and so we can, because our top is shifted. Because Big was at 5, Jay was at 2. They're at 7 and 8 right now. So we can slide Nas down next. You want to do Nas Friday?
Yeah, we can do that. I mean, doing the tops seemed to be a lot more entertaining too.
It is, because we fleshed out a list that that's combative now.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep. Anime Bros with the super chat says, Ye has better collabos than Jay, better storyteller.
Jay doesn't even tell stories outside of a couple songs. So yes, here's what I'll tell you. We're gonna start. You know what I feel like for the top tier guys, Slick Rick is the benchmark. So we're gonna start with Nas at Slick Rick at 18.
Yeah, Slick Rick's tough, man.
Slick Rick's tough. If you can't beat Slick, you're not going. Gotta beat Slick.
Anime Bros with the super chat says Ho's impact surpasses Regions. He is more impactful. Okay.
But that impact only happened because the more impactful guy than him died. So no.
Right. He also says Mike can't even name the songs. This is unfair. Oh man. I mean, listen. I want to come back with the evidence of Jay's collaborations because he has so many. I mean, we could go lobster and shrimp with Timberland. They got so many.
How about this? On Friday, bring the Biggie. I'll bring the Biggie collab list. You bring the Jay collab list, and we'll parse it out, and then we'll put Nas through the ringer.
They'll do that. Let's do that. That'd be great. All right. Appreciate y'all rocking with us, and man, we'll talk about the event Friday. We'll probably have more information on that too.
Yeah,
on Friday.
We got. According to Hip Hop, shout out to my man LT. We're going to be doing a big Juneteenth event. Mike B and I are going to check out and secure space tomorrow. It's going to be down on Metropolitan Avenue. We will have fully fleshed out details for you all Friday. Community event, community initiative, ticket going on Eventbrite soon.
There it is. We're going to holler at y'all Friday. Make sure y'all check out the Rap Snacks interview with James tomorrow at 5.
Shout out to Mr. Lindsay.
Yes, sir. Mr. Lindsay's the man.